rounds already.
How does this come this quickly?
You know, it's pretty insane, and we know that obviously Lucid took a lot of the playstyle of Canyon to heart and just made it his own as well. And just continuing that aggression here when you have this prio in mid, trying to force something, getting flash early is amazing.
It is going to get changed. Pulled back as well. Nice little secondary cue from Kingen. As Lucid's in the area. This is dangerous.
Something, rocket a hard place.
Yeah. A stump. I think it was a stump.
There you go.
Aiming this time is actually going to purchase the World Atlas. So something that we have been very critical of aiming has been his shopping.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna talk about it till some items started coming through, but he's got that Cure High shard. All right.
Cheese.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, I said it wrong.
Yeah, that's
and we will see what he decides to do. There's been a lot of hate on rapid fire cannon as of late. You're not hitting your Cyclo Sword spikes. Aiming has kind of gone down some unusual paths that some would consider unnatural.
Even the bars of Twilight Zone or something like that.
But hitting your spike solution is really important, and he hasn't been able to do that consistently. And in this comp, it is so. It is like the whole point. So we'll see if he can make that happen this time around. Often go Cyclo Sword first, and then follow up with rapid fire to try to chase things down. He's not going Ghost Blade first, which is already
the main thing. I mean, I'm okay. Okay, Bubble is going to come through here onto Pays, but he does have a Gravitum. That's going to return the favor onto Aiming. Double Summoners burned here by Gen G. Aiming, hold on to the cleanse for Aiming. That could be very important if Canyon's going to make his way down. Just need to be careful of that Bramble Smash. I'd be okay with the Storm Razor as well.
Yeah,
I'm
okay with it.
Fine with. Just would prefer not to see any more Ghost Blade first on good old Lucian.
Yeah, don't want to see that one. There's players out here thinking the Scale Force is not. Canyon sweeps this ward. If Aiming tries to push this could be a problem.
Could be. Might be a bit of a bait situation here as Pays has got some pretty cool guns if they do decide to go aggressive towards him. Lucid once again shadowing beautifully though. That is going to at least mitigate some of the pressure they do have down. He can also transition towards this Rift Scuttler as well. So staying efficient in the jungle is the young jungle at 4D+.
Are able to grab the first few Void Grubs because of that topside pressure. No assistance there from Showmaker, no contest there. And now, trying to fight this battle for vision here on bottom side, it's never really going to be without Kobe being freed from the shackles of Showmaker. Any opportunity to contest as a ping comes down. Good realization there from King. It's like, hey, okay, they might be coming for you, Showmaker, because that's the only way they can ever fight this break, because if Kobe is freed. And he will eventually be. Just dealing with early game really at the moment.
The thing is, if D+ are able to actually play out this composition effectively, there may not be very much time once he does get freed.
Yeah.
And can spend some time in a side lane, maybe get that huge CS advantage that we've seen Kobe's Jace pick up so many times. The Showmaker also knows exactly what Jace wants to do in the mid lane. He was the other Jace mid lane guy. The two of these players, even though they have played basically independent champions this season, they have a lot of overlap.
Sure, no doubt.
In their champion pools. Their champion pools are just really large.
Well, this is one way to force gold into the hands of the Lucian, is just completely four-man dive this. Syndra coming down too.
Yeah, Tidal Wave is going to connect onto Pace. Great crash down, gets both of them, and first blood goes to Lucid. There's another one, and somehow Syndra.
A little bit less ideal.
I think it's absolutely fine, but I just don't really understand how.
Weird there, we'll have to watch it. Yeah, because it almost looked like the gold was over Aiming's head, like he had gotten it down, but it actually just picks up 2 assists here.
He was like by himself in melee range, and then it was like,
and Syndra stole that from him. So this dive is it's not irrelevant, but it is certainly massively less relevant than it would have been.
I mean, less relevant for Aiming, but very relevant for mid lane. I think it's actually kind of fantastic for Showmaker, as Kingen is trying to tell Keen to leave. Keen will do so.
certainly will. Showmaker has to catch mid, and so after the back seer, after the successful dive, it is weirdly enough going to be Gen G who ends up in the interim taking this first dragon. It's just simply an ocean dragon, so not a game changer necessarily, but we'll see what that soul ends up being. That's what we're going to have to we'll revisit this later after the second dragon is taken. Aiming grabs that noon quiver, so maybe the Cyclo sword to start this time around, and
okay with it. Yeah, absolutely okay.
I'm okay with it.
I can't see any serrated Dirks. That's the main thing, as Showmaker does have the unleashed power, wants to get himself a plate, and he'll collect it.
He's pretty big. With that gold he picked up earlier on the dive, now that plate is going in his hands.
Nice little bubble here as Aiming throws out a few autos onto Pays, but doesn't get the piercing light. Pays able to offer a bunch of damage back with that caliber, adding that extra range. He feels pretty good about it.
Well played shield from Lens to mitigate a lot of that damage. Canyon has ult here, and he sees there's no vision in this rush. So well played. This could be a disaster for D+.
They haven't really seen it. If I was Pays, I probably would have just walked into that bubble. Might have been the bait that they required. As Aiming's being patient, there's the culling. Kellen, he's the one that takes the brunt of what Pays offers back. And still, Canyon waits.
Kellen wants to check so badly, but he knows it's too dangerous. They're going to call Lucid down here for some help, and looks like with the respect they're showing, they're just simply not going to get caught off guard by this very tense moment, but good read from Kellen and Aiming. Kellen's going to go ahead and pick up his mandate with some of that additional gold from double support. Big spike here for Aiming. Lock that damage up. Let's see exactly how Showmaker steals.
Yeah, I think it might have been a spear scatter last hit. Yeah, it was.
Yep. That's how it goes.
Yes.
He's laughing, but he's crying inside.
Yeah.
Poor Lucian not picking up any kills. There 2 assists split amongst multiple people. Doesn't feel as good at all.
Showmaker still able to clear out these waves very quickly, staying toe-to-toe with Chovy. Does very much like Minions when he's playing the Jace. I guess I didn't really need to say when playing the Jace, but it is one of the champions who does like to beat the clock on. Showmaker coming on over. Will be difficult to beat the clock if you are in the death chamber. My goodness, this damage is really starting to rack up. Void buffs being taken here by Canyon. To be left alone, they will be able to at least let him take these for the minute. Bubble not going to connect onto Pays here.
This is really great for Gen G overall. Chovy doesn't have to flash there. They know Lucid showed top side, so they can continue that push bottom here, and they're going to be able to grab the grubs. Feels really nice here. No real gain, unfortunately, for the side of D+. Showmaker can get one more plate.
Yeah.
That's it.
Shock blast going to be blocked there as now Lucid, he flashes! Not a moment's hesitation, but Chovy will be able to soak the unleashed power, and now it's Lucid that has to deal with Canyon. Orbs being thrown around, and they will respect them for the minute, especially with the cavalry coming up the mid lane. Good communication, swift from Gen G.
Yeah, I mean,
back away.
Nothing really committed there from Gen G. Canyon doesn't have to flash, doesn't have to hold. Showmaker's ults out, Lucid's ults out, 2 flashes down, and he's gaining again very little, just the plate. He's gonna surf for a moment here.
Yeah.
And the gold lead here in D+'s favor is all in that bottom side dive, but boy, Gen G started stacking his objectives.
Yeah, Tidal Wave actually gonna stop Gen G's bottom laners from going home.
And one of the scariest things, if you are up,
Okay, well, he is not going to be able to stop Pays from going home.
Yeah, that's not
having a
says it
giggle.
all.
Yeah, he's having a giggle. As King will get pulled back, but Kingen is dealing with a small fire. That is going to be enough to deter him. Now
He has
Kobe
no
looking
vision.
for a gank, and Kingen's already out. But that is going to mean that this turret is going to take a large amount of damage. And that minion wave will just go to no one.
Yeah, unfortunately, nothing King can do here with no vision on Toby. Toby sacrifices a little bit of control in mid for this, but we'll catch most of the wave. Teleport going to come in here. Keen so desperately needs to catch this. Another plate goes over to Keen. And Gen G, they're just so good at playing the map. They're getting everything. And when you're running the tempo mid-game comp, you usually want to be the one who's dictating team fights around these objectives. And Gen G have just skirted their way around the rift without fighting D+ in a straight-up fight at all. Somehow, some way, with some of that Udyr prio and some good movements here from Canyon. And they're feeling really good about their amount of control of this early game, despite a small gold deficit.
Yeah, it's working out very well. X-Flash here from Lucid, still wanting to move forward, wanting to find a target. to get one. Shattering Strike finds the air. And checking in on the plates. Yeah, even though D+ have managed to get a decent early game, still behind in plate money as aiming
Shot
forward.
back.
Fighting for vision here. This is where, you know, D+ would ideally want to fight if they could get the setup properly with a nice ult from Lucid. And obviously Showmaker there, he wasn't. Kingen loses half his health bar.
Yeah, and Kane, I think, was more focused on the minions. That's just Udyr things here, as the culling will largely be avoided here by Phase. Takes about a third. Does have Severin. Should be able to help him get that health bar back in order. As the Drake now being started off by Gen G. Getting off to a 2 Drake lead would be really, really good for the team that does have the composition that will spike a little bit later on with this Aphelios and the Maokai.
If this is Mountain Soul or Eternal Soul, you are feeling really good about it.
Oh, it's actually another Chemtech.
Never mind.
Abilities went wide as well. That was because Kellen got distracted. Oh man, that dragon is not what we wanted to see.
I mean, they're just getting every single objective. We'll take a dragon, we'll take another herald, they've got 6 voids. You know, love it. And we're dragoning. At the same time, that's kind of breaking one of the very standard rules we've seen here on 14-1 is if you give one, you have to, or if you take one, the other one goes, but they're getting everything on the Rift, and D+ are not getting the advantages they really need to have at this stage, and a lot of the gold you see in that advantage is plate gold for Showmaker, that kill he picked up, and some of the plate gold aiming has in his pockets now too, but they need to turn that into winning in team fights, right? And now that it's Chemtech Soul again, you don't feel great about that because that's not one that Gen G necessarily have to fight for with a 2 relevant Drake lead here. They can just simply sit back and let base become relevant. They can sit back and say, all right, we're going to put Udyr in a side, push Kingen out. Kingen had to itemize into Merc Treads. It's not going to be very useful into a basically Maokai-only AP situation here in terms of where the damage is coming from. Udyr will help him in the lane, but feels very awkward, but you're also losing your turret after rushing Merc Treads, and you're losing the whole map everywhere else. Gen G feel like there's just no losing here for them.
Certainly working out so far, and we're talking about this as there is a slight gold advantage for D+. There is also a sepia mode screen, as we do have a slight pause. I wonder whether it is Shelly related, or whether it is something else. We did have a slight audio kerfuffle last time around. We do have referees having a bit of a chat to Lucid once again, so maybe like a headset change out, something like that. But I'm speculating.
Atlas, I think it's really good to talk about this gold piece because the money is on Showmaker, a little bit on Emo, but they need to find a fight as soon as possible. But with this mid turret likely to fall very shortly here with the arrows crashing through, 2 Drakes in the favor of Gen G right now. They don't get to dictate how those fights happen. They need a great scatter into amazing ultimate, right? From aiming, follow up, burst down a target, then look for some additional kills, and then they need to be able to get control of that. They need to be pushing that top turret, mid turret. But it's only really bottom side where they've been able to take anything off of the map, which isn't going to be very relevant when it's just an Aatrox versus Udyr in that side. So there's a clock that D+ are on right now, and even though the gold looks good for Gen G, they're just opening up Chovy's playground, and he is about to do things in this besides sit under a turret. Like, he's been spending most of the game sitting under a turret or catching waves. He's now going to be the one who's taking away half of that Lucian's health bar in these upcoming fights. And again, Gen G can just walk away from this next race fight if it doesn't look good.
We're not entirely sure what happened, but whatever it was fixed. Because that scat of the week was really well split. It's not really going to be that meaningful as there's a Magnus Storm, but not a lot of follow-up here as Lucid. A little bit disconnected, not a lot of buttons available. He does manage to flash his way out, and now Kingen is making his way in. That's the flash forward canyon, going to be the first one to go down. I have no idea how it worked, Lucid, but it did in the end, and he survived.
Yeah, that looked really, really like it was going to backfire for quite some time there, Atlas, but they do end up forcing the fight. And, you know, like I said, Gen G could avoid objectives. They've been taking all of them. They don't have to force a fight, but they certainly did when Lucid went in. They were like, well, I guess we just take this. We focus down the turret. The turret did a lot of work there. Canyon falls. Ow.
All right, Kellen taking a bit of damage. That is through heal as well.
When you have opportunity first, it feels amazing how much damage you can get with this Jace. It's pretty crazy.
No, it's ridiculous. And we also saw Paze able to offer a lot of damage back there as well, and he's a full item behind. It's brown bags versus berserkers, so I guess there's that. This scatter was really nice, and Lucid sees the angle, but you can see everyone else is really far away.
And he's able to lock everybody up for a little bit of time, and I think his hope and his goal here really is that Kingan's going to be able to rotate down here, and then with a follow-up from Showmaker to get something out of it. Unfortunately, it took a little bit longer than he would have liked. It still works out, as they wanted to lock them under the turret there.
Kingan fighting against Keen once again. And a few of these sweet spots landing. That does mean that Keen's not going to be able to run as amok as he was prior. As the cat finds Lucid.
Lethality Aatrox here, rapid fire cannon done before aiming. Some people not the biggest fan of that right now, but it will offer you some additional damage and some additional
better than a Ghost Blade, baby.
Yeah, better than a Ghost Blade. And when you got a Syndra who scatters somebody, press R on them, you hit that rapid fire proc. Sometimes they just die. You have the Aatrox with lethality too, looking for that follow-up. As man, just more and more objectives go to Gen G.
They are just in better places on the map. Yeah, they're just showing that these fundamentals that we know is just so synonymous with Gen G just in general, especially when they're working like this well-oiled machine that we have seen, especially domestically. That is continuing to happen here. And we thought that maybe with some new faces and things like that, it would be a slightly different story. But enough of the original Gen G sticks around, and some of the older Gen G in Lahen's making his way back. That it is a very similar feeling to what we have seen. And that is keeping them in it. They are neck and neck as Pays, okay, this time aiming hits for all of the damage.
Yeah, Bloodsong gonna amplify that, gonna hurt in a big way. But he'll heal up pretty quickly here, red-white, for this next dragon fight. 30 seconds to go. Toby has bottom side controlled. He's gonna teleport back into this one. And this is really potentially going to be one of the first steps to victory here for Genji, is just to secure this great fight. Don't let D+ run away with it. It's just making a fight.
He's tanking.
And, you know, they're not in position really to contest this D+.
Well, Kingan is wrapping around. This might be that flank angle that they're looking for. They will need some of this CC to land. A bubble, a scatter, something like that. Or Lucid throwing his body in. Be another opportunity here.
Genji's formation's so good here. Chovy always safe but threatening the cross angle there. And if, you know, Kingan tries to rotate in too quickly, they just turn and burn him. And then it's a 5v4 fight. So the timing of Kingan's entry is so critical. Well, there's a scatter.
Yeah, it's going to connect onto Pays. Dark Sphere coming down there as well as Kane is moving forward. The Nature's Grasp did connect there onto Lucid, and they take him down. Oftentimes engaging onto the tank doesn't work. This time, though, there's no response.
If Kingan is on top of Pays, when that scatter hits, Pays dies. But he wasn't. He wasn't there. He couldn't get close enough. And they're like, where's Kingan? He's not here. They use scatter. Let's go. Cannon presses R. They move forward. They get that kill onto the front line, and that's another dragon going over to Gen G. I think the sun is setting very quickly here for D+ on this composition. If they just cannot connect those CCs, burst Pays down or burst Chovy down, the damage output is real, and the solution is just not going to stack up to the Aphelios the longer this game goes on.
No, I would agree. I think they have until they lose an inner turret. I think if DK lose an inner turret, then I think that the game might just be a little bit doomed from that point on, because they need map control as well. Kingan going to try and get a bit of that back, because what we're seeing is if you use everything to try and get on top of Pays, there is enough threat from the rest of the team to really mitigate any sort of ability to get that dive to work. And there's a culling. Pays actually taking a lot of damage here. I guess ask and you shall receive is how that one works. Great scatter is going to come down here as Lance just pops like a balloon. The power is unleashed, and this time Showmaker finds his mark. Nicely done, and D+ move back into control. Get themselves an outer turret in mid.
This is what they need. They need to land these. They need to get these picks. They need to secure these kills and turn them into objectives. That's one turret down for them, the second of the game. Top side in their control as well now, it looks like here as they rotate back. Not going to threaten the Baron. Looks like there was an option being considered there with the control ward here in the pit. So we're going to slowly come in here and suss this out as Genji are like, okay, let's make sure. And then watch through the angle versus so far away he's spotted as well. And Genji are like, so who hits him? Nobody hits him. Okay. And then he calls up on Canyon's ult here, and that's a kill. and they have wild growth. It's just super simple to just link everything together. Now here, Hayes loses half of his health bar instantly. Canyon has to tank it up. Doesn't have any defensive ultimate, of course, from that last exchange. It's really easy for Showmaker to just spin. And he catches a big one.
He certainly did. No. I mean, it's the smallest one, but it is a big one because getting a kill there allowed them to get the turret in mid lane, break open this base a little bit further, and gets them back on track. Like, this is what their game plan revolves around.
Shit.
They can use the momentum that they just managed to pick up.
Anjing ini.
Try and gain a little
Kok
bit
giliran
more.
main cybernetic OP parah perlu di nerf ya?
Absolutely
Tanpa
not.
echo.
And it's a pretty unique situation for Showmaker in that he has the Storm Surge, right? He's going into some of that magic pen here. He does a ton of damage with this Luden's Companion. If he's the one who finds someone, it doesn't necessarily have to be aiming every time. It doesn't have to be they work in tandem. But you have to catch these squishy targets while you're still relative here before you get to that later part of the game, before the designers continue to come through and you're just not going to be able to break it. So,
aduh, mati cok carry-nya. No.
Here for the tanks of JG, and that's when some of the relevance of this Syndra is going to fade. She's going to need someone to follow up on her play. She can't just 100-0 everyone. So that window, you know, it's closing, but at least they're hitting small pieces of this. Well, the third dragon going over to Genji or the fourth in 2 minutes' time. Again, they could just simply walk away if they don't think the fight is good. They had full control last time. They took their opportunity. D+, there's still hope here. Don't get me wrong, but we're going to have to see how this next fight plays out. They're going to have to play with vision very well. They don't have scuttle control here, so threatening this Baron not an option.
And it's the amount of ruthlessness that they're sort of missing. And I'm getting the same feeling here as Keen. Going to teleport in, that will deny the dive. Chovy was looking like he was potentially in some trouble. I don't think Lehens would have been enough on his own. Keen agrees, gets that teleport on cooldown, unfortunately, but keeps his mid laner alive, and that is the main thing. As King in here towards the top side, has his Edge of Night complete. Keen's still here. He's actually cancelled the back, understanding that Chovy could be in a little bit of trouble, but Kingen not going to bite off more than he can chew. He will just collect the wave.
Still some residual vision to Atlas on the river, you know. They can see that nobody's coming, so eventually they just finish this off. And Keen is just going to come down here and get more vision, you know. The map belongs to Genji this whole game. They've never been able to stop them from taking what they want.
Yeah. 107 splinters here for Showmaker, doing pretty well. Of course, Syndra, after her mini update, feels a lot better as we get later into the game. Oftentimes I think of her as a mid-game burst mage, but often, yes, the damage is more relevant late, but it's not like she hits level 16 and gets a dash.
Yeah.
You know, she's still Syndra.
She doesn't suddenly, you know, get to use like 3 scatters in a team fight.
Yeah.
Unless something goes horribly wrong for the opposition.
Maybe 2, you might be able to get to 2.
2 you can get. 3, a bit of a far cry, I'd say.
It is. Not a bad game. Really like dinosaurs. Okay. There's a cat in a brush, and that's blocking the direction of this Drake 4D+. And Keen, look at him. He's a wall. He's a wall that can change shapes.
And then all Chovy does is just on cooldown, toss in Shock Blast. And the empowered ones are the really scary ones.
Kingen has found the flank angle, though.
Canyon is going to come through here first, clear up some vision. Chovy and Hayes the targets here. Lucid in position.
Yeah, Hayes pretty far up. As Lucid wanting to get into Fog of War as Keen has found Kingen. And Genji, they can collapse. Umbral Dash is going to allow Kingen to get over the wall, something that Udyr doesn't have the luxury of. Great Scatter is going to connect onto Showmaker's old boyfriend.
This is the problem here for Kingen. Now he's kind of zoned away. And Genji back up at full. These health bars are waning. The poke is starting to stack up here. And D+ have to be decisive. They had one small window there, but they missed it as Kingen was chased away. And now you're just kind of, again, as Showmaker fishing, but your targets are so far away. That mid-pressure now starting to add up here as well.
This flank battle, though, is hilarious between these two top laners. As Kingen and Keen, both of them just trying to find the best angle for their approach to get the position. As Kingen losing out on this one, he's down very low. Has to use the World Ender.
There's no help for Kingen. You know, Keen has the assistance, but he does not. And now Kellen's at half health.
Yeah, he has a teleport, so Kingen can make his way back in, but Showmaker, oh my god. This damage from Pays, it's just starting to get to be too much. Has the window closed is the question. Let's see whether Lucid can let us know one way or the other. Can you find the Magnet Storm as Keen taking a fair bit of damage, but there's the Moonlight Vigil. Nature's Grasp comes through as well. Kingen back in full health, and that is going to be the first kill of the fight. And D+ have found it. The Drake goes over, but Gen.G are lying on the floor. It's Hayes and Lahan's against the world now.
That was so close, that fight. It was on a knife's edge, but D+ are able to do it. Showmaker teleports back in. Good scatter.
Another one, but the cleanse is going to be there. Showmaker, we'll see whether he has another one of those. He let me know that he might have another one of those.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, the window was closing and Showmaker just grabbed the bottom of it and pulled it up to the top because now D+.
I think I saw him like reach back for his hat and grab that and whip it through. I believe I saw that one, Wolf. I think you're right.
And now they got Baron. That's a ton of money. First objective to get essentially for the whole game is a big one with a massive team fight win. As teleports come through here for the Soul Laner, Showmaker super low, has to back and teleport back in, and at this moment they decide, okay, we can burn and secure this. Canyon, a little bit haphazard with this ultimate here. It's the Nami ultimate that kind of locks them in place here as Lucid at low health re-engages with Showmaker's scatter. And I think the timing of the ultimate here from Canyon, to be frank, a little bit lazy, and he drops it in, doesn't allow, or doesn't prevent Showmaker from following up, and Lucid with a sick play there, sets Showmaker up, and D+ make the combo work finally in a 5v5. They don't secure the dragon, Soul still goes over to Gen.G, but that Baron is way more important.
The thing that, I actually think that it's almost like a negative that Gen.G secured the dragon.
There's now Elder coming.
Yeah, now there's an Elder a whole lot earlier. And we mentioned expiration dates and the fact that D+ wants to keep up the pressure. Well, now they can potentially transition from Baron giving them that injection of gold and then using this composition to win another one of these fights, which they were capable of, before Hayes has an extra item that might make things just a little bit too difficult. We saw already that if he does land a few of these moonshots and stuff like that, then things can get difficult for D+, whose range isn't quite that high.
The second hide behind these Baron minions for now is Lucid looking for an angle.
Yeah, that's a great bubble to come through there. A few extra knockups as well as Canyon with the Nature's Grasp. They're looking for a target, but Scat of the Week onto Pays. He does have the Mikhails from Lahan's to keep him alive.
And Lucid whiffs the follow-up engage as well. He just kind of gets Mikhails and walks back. And, you know, this was a pretty dangerous situation there for D+, potentially on the overextension as Lucid is on vision. They're just trying to siege this turret, but a lot of time on this Baron lost from that play. They'll still get the turret. They could have gotten more.
And still, there are orbs being thrown around, red buffs being thrown around as well. As that is lawful, remember, so that will go over to D+. Kind of meaningful. Stealing away these buffs, denying that from Gen.G is Kane moving towards his bottom side. That is dangerous, though. He's ganked by aiming. Down to 50%. He's very tanky, but I don't think he's tanky enough. And then, oh, the Moonlight Vigil will connect, but the Udyr is still dead. And that means the D+ can continue this onslaught. Another 35 seconds on this Baron.
They are really getting value out of this. This is a 4,300 gold power play here. That kill is massive. The turret's going down here, stacking up the gold now to a 7,000 gold lead here. And more important than almost anything else is the vision and the map control it's taken away from Chovy. He can't hit shot blasts when he can't see targets.
The Nature's Grasp and the instant response with the Tidal Wave. Kellen has been there with that every time. You mentioned it around the Dragon fight, and once again, it mitigates that counter-engage potential.
And no inhibitors go down here. Gen.G, 1 kill to their name.
This game is so close. The inner turret that I was talking about is taken by D+, but that is sort of how it's supposed to go, right?
Exactly. And I mean, look at this attempt here to turn this fight around. You know, Chovy's got the shot blast. They have a really nice Moonlight Vigil here. It's a great turret to try to lock them down on the re-engage, but it's not enough to actually secure those kills. Gold here always been in Gen.G, or rather in D+'s favor, but now it is so massively. But what they need to control now is the prio for Elder. That is what matters more than money right now, because obviously the Aphelios has LDR, he has IE, Pays is ready to pop off in this fight. You just need to make sure you have control. And
oh, one way, he might pop instead of popping off. Okay, no, never mind. He is able to get himself out of there, but Lucid, he's looking for it. There's the Flash Magnet Storm, but he isn't able to find his target. They get the Flash, though, and that is almost as good.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. I think it may look silly watching Lucid do this, but I think it's 100% worth, and now they're even going to push down this turret.
Yeah, should be able to break open the base in the first place this game. And good scatter for the disengage as well. 1 minute on the clock.
You have to get vision somehow now as Gen.G. In 70 seconds, towards this Elder so that Chovy can hit Shock Blast, so that you can get your front line in position so that Paze can actually do damage, because he can't close the gap and get close to these champions on the side of D+ if they can't see what they're trying to approach. And right now there's no vision whatsoever. They have to catch this wave. Very important for Gen.G they didn't lose that inhibitor. If they lose the inhibitor, they have to deal with mid cryo and all of that, all the problems that come with that. So that's huge for them that they keep that alive. But D+, they're resetting, buying some critical items here, 2 control wards in the pocket of Kellen. He just wants to make sure that Chovy can't see where those shock blasts are firing unless he is in range of elucidating, unless he's in range of hitting his flank. And some of the burst damage that's going to come through with this lethality Aatrox that's on 3 items. This is a game-deciding fight, very likely here.
Absolutely. And aiming, oh, these shock blasts. Chovy does have a lot of power in these setups around these objectives. And aiming, you walked into that one, silly boy.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking a lot of damage before this fight even starts off, and Gen.G are just saying, well, we got Cryo back pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, amped up Honeyfruit is going to help him out there as aiming found another one. He's captured him. Okay, well, Showmaker hasn't. He is also extraordinarily important here. Kingen, once again, wanting to find these flanks, holding on to his shield is also pretty big, as he can use that when looking for these angles.
Hubris, the item, not feeling too great for Chovy with 1 kill across the team. But he's trying to help push on to Kingen here. This is how they won the last Dragon fight, just keeping Kingen down and adding all that additional poke.
Kingen and Lucid kind of separated from the rest of their team. You can see Kellen and aiming. They're the ones on a flank angle, which is an odd maneuver. See whether it is actually going to work out here as Lucid. He's just playing catcher, and D+ have pushed them away from the pit. Gen.G just wanting to find that opportune angle as aiming. He thinks that he's found one, but the Moonlight Vigil's so... Oh, it's going to be avoided! Paze in trouble, but he is still kept alive, at least for the moment. As Keen is launched into the backline. Showmaker goes golden, but can he survive is the question. Gen.G, they're so low D+. They also don't have the biggest of health bars. I mean, but no one's dead.
All ults down here. It's really hard to chase down these Gen.G members. D+ have the health advantage here, but in the longer exchange here, Gen.G will get advantage. Chovy has teleport. He can come back to this fight.
Same thing for Showmaker. He's also immediately teleporting back in as Lucid aggressive onto Chovy here. The rest of the team are coming on in. You can see Keen. He has replenished that health bar. And now he's looking for Showmaker. Showmaker in a little bit of trouble here. And yeah, Kingen, oh dear, he just pops. The first one caught out of position, and Gen.G have been hunting this entire time for someone to put their foot out. It's Kingen that does so.
Aiming just can't hit people, but Chovy, he can hit people for days. He's got Shock Blast on such a low cooldown, he's going to constantly Q until D+ get pushed away. They need a decisive engage. They need Lucid's ultimate. They need Showmaker to hit a big scatter, or this is just going to be Gen.G's game.
Or they can just kill the Nexus.
Ooh, tricky play here.
That's a move, as Lucid is going to be spotted by the sapling. Remember, he is Rel. He has Hex Flash. He can try and get over. Showmaker, Unleash Power onto Keen. Good scatter onto Lahans as Lucid's got in there, but immediately he goes down. Aiming though, he's in the base. And they know that there is no one on that fountain. Paze is going to go back. It is an exposed Nexus, but Paze is going to be enough to stop D+ from ending the game.
Yeah, with Elder, aiming is not long for this world. If he gets caught here, he actually avoids. He avoids Keen here. Now he's going to have to hope for a bag. Oh, he gets away with it.
Is he going to? Okay, he's looking for the kill onto Lahans. Paze, Moonlight Vigil does connect, and Lahans stays alive.
I mean, you could just see the moment when Chovy, and they got that first kill, and Chovy had control there on the Drake, where D+ just basically surrendered. They were like, we push Nexus or we lose game. They didn't even put up a fight after that, and now
they have
with
to
Elder,
make the call, yeah.
With Elder and Baron to make the Exodia with these respawns, if Gen.G don't end outright before they take Baron here, I feel like this game is all over but the crying, as I love to say here at the LCK. I mean, they get one more chance on the Baron contest here. They defended the inhibitors, but it is going to be a long, long road to come back in this one, with aiming still not up for 15, and Gen.G's damage at 37 minutes into this game. This Baron is just gone.
Oh, it is definitely gone. Pace is going to do so much damage to that one. Not exactly the most optimal guns, but it's absolutely fine. He has got some cool items. Let's have a look at this one more time. And how did Kingen get into the awkward position that he found himself in?
He wants to try to sandwich here with a big play from Showmaker, but the rest of the team is zoned out so deftly. And then Keen comes over here, pushes Showmaker away, so they can't actually close the gap or sandwich anyone. And aiming is a million miles away from hitting an auto attack on anybody. And then at that moment, it's on. They have to make the call to push mid here and try to delay. But they're losing the fight, obviously, on Drake. Lucid is like, Umbrell? Maybe that's a thing? No, they held it at 3,000. They are not going to let him steal it. And this is the team fight one, and the Elder secured. And then Pays channels back early, comes into the base, and defends Aiming's push all at the same time. Gen.G not going to get caught with their pants down in any aspect of that last moment. A lot of weaker teams might have just been bamboozled there and messed it up, but Gen.G, they covered all their bases.
And in fact, Pays leaving there to channel the back early meant not only did he get back, but also the damage calculation that Lucid had to do in his head, because he didn't have vision of that Elder Pit, was off, because there wasn't an Aphelios doing damage to the Dragon, and so therefore he looks silly going in early, and then it all stacks up and doesn't quite work out for D+. So really nice decision making here from Gen.G. And they are now going to break open the base in the mid lane as well. The first inhibitor of the game, sorry, second inhibitor of the game is going to go down. It looks like D+ are running out of steam. They ran out of top laner as well as Kingen. He is on a mission. There is a naked neck on. You have to remember that. He could just go over and kill that.
There's no minions here, but I mean, that's totally fine if he is given enough time, but there's no one to stop that.
Yeah,
unfortunately, that's a power attack.
It is a minute 40 until that inhibitor does come back up again, though, and so Gen.G really does need to respect anyone that isn't in the base.
Yeah. They can't find him because he's not there, and he has some first backed, and it's not going to be threatening this, but the fact that he could have distant backboard with the naked Nexus is going to, force Gen.G to back. They are going to respect it. Gen.G lives to fight another day. Some miracle scatter, some crazy pick on a jovier base. Maybe, if you're the D+ believer here, you're hoping for a 2-0. I mean, that's
Baca
your
aku,
angle,
padahal.
the margins are so thin.
12.
The Nexus is still alive. They only got one.
Nonton nggak Iwan kemarin?
They lost
Belum.
until 1 minute
Nggak
time,
jadi
but that
nonton.
does come back up as you were mentioning.
Tertunda terus.
Yeah, that's
Still
where
in the game.
that's where Gen.G can really start pushing, because to take the inhib and the Nexus one after the other with super creeps coming down and things like that, that could be dangerous. As Chobi's going to get dove on, but he does have the flash. Keen also in that front line. Nature's Grasp, not the highest value, but it might be enough to stop Lucid here as that scatter, saving his young jungler. Nice work there from Showmaker, but still Gen.G, they are so scary. Aiming
Kata Sombak
damage
Iwan
on the
game
key, but he's a brick wall.
Honestly, Atlas, right now, like, this might be my first unironic, like, it's an Udyr POG angle, because, oh god, his positioning has been so down in every single fight.
Hampir sejak lawan KDF kemarin.
He's super tanky, he's got his Rooker, he's got Anathemas now, Frozen Heart, no one can kill him.
Ini
so
lebih
no
seru
one
ini,
can
Genji
scatter him, because you
Deka.
gotta get through Keen first, and he is always
Sengit
clearing
nih
vision,
anjing,
he's
Genji
always
Deka.
tracking where that front line is,
Showmaker
where
bener
is Keen,
hebat.
he's always pushing him
Game
away
duonya,
and getting through
coachnya
some of
lab
that,
berjanjian nih, sudah sakit banget draft, sudah anjol lahir signature kalau sesimpel itu ngedraft.
The spacing game here, the zoning so incredibly well that Hayes has two supports essentially in this game. There's no way Showmaker can get into range. There's no way Keen can threaten him if Keen is always watching, if Keen is always threatening and pushing the Aatrox away.
And these shock blasts, as soon as one of those hits, Gen.G might just have an angle to go through, start taking down Nexus turrets themselves. I do think D+ have found themselves with another team fight.
Yeah, it's wild to believe that that actually did occur, but in 45 seconds they'll get one more shot.
Oh, never mind. Nick does have a bloodthirst, so that will certainly help him out.
Kingen has TP, so
He is committed. He is committed to this play. As he will find it. And so now the thumbs up does come through. Oh no, it's a wall. It's a small wall. That is Udyr's worst enemy, as Kingen is just going to keep walking. You need to use that to go over walls, Kingen.
They are
have
running out of
another one
time.
of them back available. He gets over another small wall.
They got to push on somebody. If Kingen just dies, that's the end. They're trying to push mid. Maybe they can rush this down.
GA, it might take a fair bit of time. As you can see, Pays, he's elected to try and go back because D+, they are now trying to move in and just win the game. Let's see whether they can do so here as Lucid does have that Magnus Storm running.
Gas.
Showmaker finds himself.
Showmaker,
The
set,
the
trot,
turret is doing
trot,
so much
dikit
damage
ya
here.
ditaruh
Yeah, I
Lucid
don't know
nggak
about
jadi
this one, D+.
anjing.
It's not going to work
Mau
out. It
makan
was a
blunder
cute
Cak
little
Showmaker.
plan. But Gen G, they just collapsed too quickly.
Baru
Okay.
dipuji anjing.
Oh, is this it? Is this the plan? Maybe they've forgotten about little old Aatrox?
I don't think that. I don't think he's getting in on it. No way.
Oh, he was spotted. He was spotted.
Canyon says no.
He
Speeds up.
does. He walks relatively quickly, but there is a smite there. Let's see how far through this Nexus he can get. As he does get a knock-up, but Pace, he comes back and puts the chakram in the back of his head. And the rest of Gen G are getting the work done. Chovy's not going to waste too much time. And do you know what this means? This is a beautiful thing. It means we get game 3, baby! Heck
right.
yeah, Gen G, even it out, 1-1.
Yeah, the last parts of the game did feel like a little bit of a formality, but you know,
Langsung, ya
be
Allah.
honest. You know, they really need to come
Di comeback. Ya ilah ilong lo di comeback jelek nih anjing
One
momen terakhir.
more team fight scare, so to speak.
Oh
But
iya dah.
I don't think I have ever seen
Ini
a
berwainan nih.
piece of LCK that has been as relevant, that has been as guarding and blocking and zoning as what we saw from Keen in this game.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
brother.
amazed with how successful he was at keeping Keen away from a scatter engage, away from that Lucian damage, where he could have been the one who secures the last bit of damage onto either Chovy or Pays. He just couldn't ever get in. It was just a constant brick wall that Keen put up, and it was a one-kill game for so long, and the reason we talked like Genji was ahead for so long until that one big play from D+ was because we knew eventually that Chovy damage was going to come online. Eventually D+ was going to have a huge range problem, a huge damage problem, and that reality did occur. It just took a lot longer because of a little bit of time by there from Lucid.
It was a little bit top tip in the end. I completely agree with you there, Wolf, but we'll see who's going to have the last laugh as we have game 3 around the corner. Go to a short break, then the space, then that game 3. See you there.
Tombol aku jadi ini lebih jadi dia gila master. I cook cream soup. Taste is loco. Yummy, yummy as she is.
이거 아트란턴가 볼 때, 나 아트란턴 맞을 데 없어. 바셀이 안 돼. 나 바텀 때, 바셀을 이거 내가 맞지. 우리끼리 막을 우리끼리 막을 만해. 그럼 나 바텀 텔 찍은
Woo!
끝낼 수 있지.
Damn!
나
Aduh kacau.
못 끝내, 못 끝내.
Dia jatuh. Oh udah.
못 끝내, 못 끝내.
Damn! No! Fuck! My lovely fucking Jana! Finally I got you! Yeah! You're me your wife as she is. I clean your room. This is loco. Langsung dijual baik ke Jana. Yeah.
No more
pretty my heart to the answer. La 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 la.
Tidak sini. Aduh lah enggak.
Aku lawan kocok bisa tapi nggak tahu ya. Lawan kamu. Kalau lawan aku caknya kau bisa menang. Oh tidak, aku lawan kocok. Kalah yang total.
Lagi tentu juga tuh. Oh kalah balik aku. Turun kod di motor. Fuck. Oh tidak mati. Tidak mati. Untung tak kemaster Yurgen. Shit. Ini lagi bro. Oh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Konyak jana gue. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Kawan-kawan anjing.
Babum.
Lagi bro, ini anjing. Lagi. Anjir, hilang lantak dari sini.
Panggil aku pengendali angin. Anjing sini ngecok. Genji londekan El Clasico kayaknya. Epos RRQ literally anjing.
We are back here at the space. I love this epic music because so far it has been quite the epic series, a back and forth battle between DK and Gen G. Gen G able to take it in about 42 minutes with a couple of elders and crazy backdooring. What was going on?
Carefully glossing over the ending there, which was a little bit
Yeah.
Kamu sorcerer TB nih
that the rest of the game actually was really cool and it was a pretty tense back and forth. Looking at the drop, don't see
Giliran saya ini AKT. Win aja.
game plan, as the casters also alluded to, the game plan that into what Gen G have drafted will, I mean, not necessarily all the lose, but have a really hard time in the late game. You don't actually get through the front line. You're severely outraged, and Lulu, especially once you get a couple of items, really counters what you're trying to do.
I feel like with a composition like this, you really have to be so clean. You have to find that alien momentum and then just really clean sweep through. I think you want to have a situation where you're the ones getting the Dragon Sword. That's a really impactful one.
A good one as well.
Yeah, I mean, the way it panned out with the Dragons obviously wasn't super favorable. I kind of saw like the Maokai Unia was so immortal in the later stages, and it's like, even though Lucian went LDR, he's never cutting through them well. The Syndra had like the Storm Surge where, you know, if you had 10 seconds, maybe you could do 35% of the Maokai's health.
Yeah, and I think also Showmaker went very, and I think it was the right call for a build that was designed for a squish.
Salah masuk ya, aku salah beli anjing.
It also meant that he didn't do any damage to the tanks.
Yeah, and then eventually it just became like, well, we're just going to overpower them, we're going to out-tank them, we're going to out-team fight them, and that did happen eventually. But we can take a look at highlight number 1, which was actually a great turnaround from Team Plus, as they were able to take this pretty much on a knife's edge.
Yeah, and I think you're really seeing the power of the Rel in this situation. You absorb so much resistances when you go in with your ult, and you also proc the Aftershock as well. So even though we see Lucid actually get really low here, he's still able, I mean, he's so low and he still manages to turn this engage, gets the shielding, gets the Aftershock, and obviously combined with the CC, they just can't really do anything to him. So ends up being a favorable play, but the Dragon just gets stolen. Knife's edge.
And in the chaos, that ends up being the soul going over.
Balik,
And
Cak.
looking,
Itu
and normally we
Nvidia
don't
telah
love Chemtech, so I still think it's one of the weak ones. But into what DK have, I actually think it's really good because their composition will rely in fights on like finding one target and blowing them up, especially when we get later into the game. So Chemtech actually has a decent amount of value, and I also think they try to overthink it a little bit. Kingen doesn't have to flank. Like, it's good if you can get an opportunity, but it felt like eventually, like, if we don't flank, we don't win. And I'm like, maybe try, you know. A little flank, not a big one.
Yeah, he tried many big flanks and little flanks and
Yeah,
all
that's
types of
what
flanks.
I've
And
learned.
Kane was just like, no. Every single time he just put up his hand and said no. We can take a look at the final fight here as well. The Elder fight, I guess not technically the final fight, but basically the one that ended the game. This is where they just got to be too immortal at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you actually see they do a good amount of damage to Page to engage him, but the front line, you can see the beauty of just running around and just really shaking off a lot of the damage in this situation. They managed to regroup and head towards the Dragon. And honestly, I think D+, some of the later game balls really ended up backfiring on this one, because Kingen ends up massively out of position again, going for one of these patented flanks.
Yeah, these wards have been really impactful. Credits to Genji for having this as on the team that they want to play against. They are so good at warding their flanks and having someone who's playing detective, making sure they don't get caught off guard. I do think, though, that even though Genji, I think, earned the win, played to their win cons very well, I again want to reiterate, the fact that DK got this close is still really remarkable. This is a really big jump in quality of play from this team compared to what we saw in week number 1. And if Lucid, like, somehow gets this steal, they still could have won this game, which is kind of mind-boggling to me, given what the expectations were coming in.
Yeah, I think Genji did a good job at this part of the game, but I think the burden of execution on the composition from D+, was much higher, which is why they struggled to close out. And Genji, even though they do take the win here, like, that's 2 games in a row where they have looked like the weaker team for a majority of them.
They're definitely being challenged in a big way by D+. But Genji do skirt by, they stop any backdoor shenanigans or anything like that. Let's take a look at the team for this one, because it did feel like the entire team was doing something. It is going to be Keen who does pick it up on his zoning Moodier.
Yeah, I think there's 2 factors here. One is how well he was tracking Kingen on the Aatrox. It's been this constant nuisance, this constant issue, where he couldn't find the flank angles because he was being checked. You know, it's like in football, when you're marking someone, he just didn't let him get through. And the other was his presence in team fights like this. Once he gets in the back line, they just could not deal with him.
And you see the issue there as well, again, with the itemization that was there from DK. Lucian's never getting
Paham lagi ya,
Showmaker
kalau
was
yang
a Syndra, who also went for a full squishy build burst. So really interesting that we get votes for every single one. The Chovy votes, you get a lot of mid-game damage. I do think the team for that one. We get a lot of feedback when it comes to this.
I got lucky.
So rare we see like 3 different votes from media, you know?
Yeah.
And it's so interesting that like every other like segment is like in sync, you know, both the analysts went made both the Korean casters.
This is probably the most unique vote we've seen thus far.
Well, it was a team effort, you could say, from the side of Genji. They do get across the line. That was game number 2. We've got one more. Let's go back to the cast.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I absolutely love that vote spread. I love it so much because you can understand the mindset from everyone. You know, it's like, give it to Paze. It's a late game, and he was able to do a lot of damage. His back timings as well. Stop the back door, absolutely fantastic. And then it's just give it to Cody, get him down, not rob, and then media's great. Great plays from Lehens with the Mikhails, the wild growth landing as well, really good. Standout outside of Keen.
Nice.
Damage, you know. That was, we live in a world so far here in our first weeks of LCK where we also have tier lists on the west side where you go, okay, East gets a little wild, you never know, and then on the west it's like, okay, well, it's T1 and GG, and then, you know, there's everybody else, or in KT's case last year we're like, okay, it's KT and T1,
Come on,
it's
let's go.
growing a little bit, but it's KT and Genji only.
I feel like right now with our west side,
Karosel
any
Sojin
top
lah,
team
bisa
seem
kali.
like they could beat any
Sojin,
other top
Sojain.
team on the given day, and that is something I feel like we haven't really seen in the LCK in a while, and that is so exciting to me that
Sumpah,
D
Mi.
Plus
You see what I see right now? Yang namanya Lemuria TFT tuh melampaui baru.
Kayak akhirnya ya. Item.
Yeah, it is completely all over the place.
Daninya
If D
item.
Plus
Tapi
does
Koji nggak ada
win here,
jana.
then the rock, paper, scissors, the circle that we could have. Pretty insane. And I'm all
Aduh, mati jananya. No, anjing ya babi. Tapi hari nanti kayaknya dapat item. Gacu. Lu terus ya. Kate. Nah, itu dah nah. I clean your room. That is loco. You're your wife and it is.
Cassante gone too. Ace of Belios taken away. You don't want to deal with that scaling.
Bintang 1 loh
If the
jangan
Rakan
gila
is
ini.
banned
Sebenarnya
by
menakun
Genji,
egois.
because,
Jananya gue ganti
Belios is
Soraka,
still
terus
available. If
Sojinnya
that is the case,
apa namanya? Ku pecah di hari Siko, di Sindra Siko sebenarnya. Tapi Koji kok lah berbeda. Bener lah saya ini. Koji kok lah tapi Jana ya kan. Bintang 1 tok. Di aduan CC. Ada silver fail yo. Tidak peduli. Sindranya Jananya ditarik anjing. Anjing Victor. Trot. Ada Sinza.
Tahu tiba-tiba ada Sinta nih anak cerita.
Tadi kan ada Rakan, ada Sinza, ada ini Jarvan. 4 protector tadi tuh. Jadi 4 sorcerer. Aku tahu anjing.
Well, I guess I was gonna say they don't necessarily have
Di
to unleash, but actually
Injo
they kind of do,
Sojin,
because otherwise you pick that away the same way. So that's of course gives D Plus kind of an
Tidak,
extra
apa
pick here
namanya?
in this rotation.
Aku tahu ngapa harinya tetap sakit. 4 sorcerer anjing.
Oh no, Zeri Yumi, they have done Zeri Yumi already.
Rabadon nih 50
Look
kan.
at Aiming's face. It
Sorcerer
looks so
40
cheeky.
wajar
I
sakit,
heard that
bro.
means that he's not
Mana
actually
dari
doing
Star
Zeri.
Guardian 6.
Oh mate, we're zooming. Where's oh dear. Okay, there we go.
Varus.
And we could just do it again. I actually don't mind it. To be perfectly honest, Ash Varus with a Maokai
Apanya?
is much stronger because you now have
Lemah,
the ability
soalnya.
to peel so
Lemah
effectively with
soalnya.
Nature's Grasp. You
Dan
can then
lebih
use
bangga
the arrow
dulu.
and all of that
Iya.
follow up, the
Gua
chains
lebih
of
bangga
corruption, everything
Irel,
like
lebih
that.
bangga.
Does Chobi's silence
jalan.
come out now though? Because I'm
Anjing
seeing
Ahri
this
aku ngecek.
is
Dia posisi nih, bro.
This is a great game for him.
Pintar dia naik Ahri jadi.
Less exciting.
Tahu dia ngedemik itu Ahri.
Oh hilang
Yeah, I think
gambar.
he's probably pretty
Dia tahu dia
psyched
Mi
about the
yang
fact that
ngedemik tuh Ahri banyak tuh. Yang habis tank mereka.
So stoked about this Draconic just yet.
Seksi 60 item.
Very low range.
Ah, ini
Emilio will
gawe
come
apa
out quite a
namanya?
bit.
Blitz
And I
kering
think with
main,
Jace, I think
tercounter.
Jace would have just made this off extremely annoying to play against with their extremely low range versus Varus poke
Batunya,
and secure for Varus arrows as well as that Jace shock blast. So I think that ban is kind of required. I still think picks like the Rumble could be quite relevant
Taruh
here as well
belakang,
for
Cok.
D+. And
Ani siapa?
do we
Sebelah
just see a
hari yang
brand
ditarik
ban
tuh.
here? Because there's no magic damage really for
Cak
Genji
itu.
just yet. Yone now also
Ano?
taken
Solo
away
versus
from
squad
Showmaker. Like, what is Canyon's plan here with this draft in terms of somehow they can find magic damage? Could
OP.
be Keen and play something like a Rumble here, but it's not a
Mantap
whole lot
naik
of
OP.
lockup for the ult to come through, and you're going to be outranged.
Aduh counter.
Wah habis.
really interesting.
Ya sih
Like a
ya.
Nico angle, the Ivern can't counter the tree with 3, but countering a tree with fire
Kembali
makes
skill
sense.
Sindranya.
I like what
Noh,
you
tas
said
stun.
with Brand.
Wah, ngetep.
But
Sekali
Nico,
gempur
I think that
lagi.
Canyon could play here in this draft too.
Sekali
I wouldn't
gempur
hate it.
lagi.
You know, you get some lockdown. You are going to struggle to get
Anjay,
through this
anjay.
Maokai, obviously, but if you can find an angle,
Gila sih.
could be fantastic.
Itu baru
Just
anjay,
going to be
bro.
Sejuani here.
Coba item jadi Jo.
Anjay.
Ahri ya,
And,
tapi
okay,
lama.
so we'd like to see a Rumble. I wouldn't mind if Showmaker went back to a Silas
exit
again.
Ahri itu
He has a
dulu.
Glacial Prison, but instead,
Azir,
it's going to
Udyr.
be the Azir. I think Udyr would be fine.
Aja dulu aku masih
Have so much of a front line if you actually get that Udyr
This
here.
is
The
Star
King
Guardian.
and Aatrox, though, is going to be the option. We weren't too pleased with it in Game 2. He was
That's
a
nice.
He flanked all the way into
Rebel.
Game 3, Wolf.
I think
Mau nak
this is a
main
much
rebel
better
sama,
setup
Master
for him,
dapat
obviously,
kalah.
though, and he's going to have a lot less
Squad risiko
weight
lagi tapi.
on him, and it will just be
Astro
the
tuh
Rumble
lah
to come through.
sini.
Honestly, for the first time in this best of 3, I walked
Pick
out of the
one.
draft feeling like D+ really got a pretty clear win in my mind when you have the oppressive Varus Ash lane in the bottom lane. You have safe Azir mid. You're going to have great lockdown to both heal for the Varus, but also set up for the Varus.
Iya kan?
There is just
Arcanis.
not a whole lot this composition does in low range besides the equalizer. And if you get somebody with a Sejuani ult, you know, maybe Rumble follows up on that, and then Tristana jumps in, you get a reset, the burst damage is there. But you really need to be in control from start to finish if you're going to be playing like that. And I think the burden of execution, as Ox put it, last time was on D+, this time it's on Genji.
Yeah, the burden of execution is normally on the composition that doesn't have Maokai. That's pretty much what it feels like. And this time around it is shoes on the other foot. I do feel a little bit like picking Aatrox when Rumble was up could come back to bite them. We have seen that the Rumble win rate has not been high, but even Kingen himself had a great game on the champion, right? Yes, it was into Perfect, who hasn't been having a very good time here in the LCK, but still, it's a champion that he can play, even if Huni does have some stern words to say about some decisions that he has made. It would have fit the composition just because you can equalize from such a long distance, and it works so well with Maokai. But Genji, they opted in for an early Tristana. They let things go that could have been good. See what they were thinking as we jump into game 3. And the main thing on my mind is the fact that there was no Sylas, and it's still kind of irking me.
Yeah, it was extremely strong, and it would have made some of the damage profile. You could have been a little more flexible, like Keen plays top if you had played that as well. And a lot of this draft will look very different, and you know, would have had a little bit less of a consistent damage output than this double AD carry with Lucian, but a lot more ways to set Lucian up for success. Again, this is what you do at level 1. You have to do something, otherwise the Ash Varus will run away with the lane. Even a ward to try to spot this out. This is not going to be under the control of Chovy. He is not going to try to make the same play Showmaker made. Does not have the ability to make the same impact that a Sylas with a big stun is going to have with a Rakan knockup, and it's Milio.
And they spot the fact that Tristana is now in here, and you can see the D+ very well aware of the dangers of playing too far up too early. So very cute stuff. So Callan is biding his time, pays in my hand. And we'll see whether Showmaker is going to find more success than you know, the majority of other people playing easier.
Both jungles starting top as well, and will path down to relieve that pressure, and this will turn into a 3v3 down here, which you know, can favor D+ quite massively, especially if they get this poke going, because Campfire will mitigate some of it here, but you can already see the impression.
Yeah.
And this allows Rumble to have a pretty comfortable start to the game. That is where you get here. Obviously, if there's a Maokai game, if Rumble falls behind, the game is just over. If Rumble falls behind and you're losing bot, you know, the Tristana, the small advantages early aren't going to be enough to win you the game. So at least Keen can put himself out pretty early, then he can continue to put this pressure on heavily and try to get some advantage there on the top side.
See whether he can make this one happen. So far, so good for D+. The Ash Varus lane is where I'm really focusing, because that does need to get the advantages early on, and so far, by a wave and a half feels pretty good at 2.5 minutes. And Kingen will get shoved in. I think that is the product of both the players and the matchup. Kingen can find a bit of better luck as the game goes on. I think that that flank up, the amount of posturing that was happening, it's not going to make him feel good. I don't think the entire game hinged around him necessarily and his decisions, because a lot of those flank calls are not just one person.
This is the Milio and Lucian specifically this lane is watching it in real time. That was a great little graphic coming up.
Yeah, really glad that that came up, saying just how dominant this Milio Lucian lane is. Yes, as we can see. This also struggling in the Azir. We did mention this already, and 6 of those victories out of the 7 were last week, so this week has been not so great.
I actually think we shouldn't draw too many conclusions about the Azir because this was picked in a more stable draft here. And a lot of the losses we've seen on Azir, you see some of those names are like crutch Azir players who first pick in every game because it's one of the only champions they're comfortable on right now in this meta. I'm not going to name any names, but you can look at the list and suss it out.
Okay.
And I think that this is a more safe place for the Azir. I'm not worried about this loss streak at all in terms of what he's becoming. But this is obviously buffer. The ultimate, there are some great things Kobe can do in this matchup. It's not a counter matchup per se. He's on a ward. He is. I don't know if he cares, as this pressure is still very real.
I think perhaps Kane cares because Kane has killed him. That's a solo kill once again. King is really not having a great week this week.
He's certainly not. And you know what? I mean, when that vision allows Keen to know, hey, I just pushed for the kill. I have Flash, I have Ignite, and I've worn him down. As Chovy seeking out.
He does have Rocket Jump. Canyon gonna make his way in here as Aiming completely out of mana. As Pays, he's got a barrier, now he's got a kill. Aiming might be able to survive this. He does get back to the proximity of his turret, and Lucid has pushed Chovy away, but that is all they've really been able to respond with. And for the first time this series, Gen G off to a flying start, have an early advantage.
Some of the tightrope walk of this early game here for Gen G is knowing that you can get dove by Maokai, you can get threatened by him if you're pushing Rumble, but they always knew where he was. And in both of these plays, he's standing on a ward here. In this case, Keen does not hit that Q here. And look at this, Keen flash here at the last possible second, takes him down with Ignite. That was a pretty easy, straightforward kill. Then again, guess who's showing? It's Lucid in mid, so Canyon knows he can come down here for the punish. There's no mana here, and another kill goes over to the Lucian here. So 2 times Lucid is seen, and 2 times Gen G pulled the trigger.
Really beautifully done. Chovy also getting himself a little bit of help here from Lehens. Showmaker taking a bit of damage, but not too much. Mid lane, certainly one of our more even affairs. On the bottom side of the map, of course, Gen G did need the help from Canyon. Still Aiming does have that advantage, but a lot of the pressure has now been alleviated with that gank working out so successfully. Noonquiver now done. World Atlas picked up here. Both members at the bottom lane on Gen G's side. Aiming trying to bring some of these items together and make this Varus work. He has been a bit of a Varus guy in the past. Yeah, something that he has very much enjoyed.
If you compare to the ways and the comforts that Aiming has had this game, despite the kill on Kellen, compared to when Pays played it earlier in the series, like he got his tier early, he's stacking these long swords, he's just going to be ready to hit those spikes in the mid game so much more comfortably, even with that kill going over. And this is what this matchup was supposed to do and failed to do when Pays was piloting it because of Showmaker's level 1, etc. that we've talked so much about. Yeah, 1 kill on Kellen isn't going to relieve the pressure enough. Unfortunately, here for Pays on the hand, it's still going to be a little bit of a struggle street down here. But as you say, picking up that gold makes it feel a lot better.
Yeah,
certainly does.
Does get the kill himself. Of course, you saw Canyon not be able to take Aiming out, who does have both of his summoner spells. Kellen, same thing. But his Ghost and his Flash up and available. As Pays might get a pull down or 2, but you can see with the Hail of Blades, Kellen just trying to keep Pays in position. A lot of damage going down. There's the piercing arrow as well as Lucid moves over. That's why Gen G can't go for any sort of re-engage.
It's insane how oppressive Ashe is. If you don't have kill pressure on her very quickly, if those slows come through, you're burning a summoner. Just every time. It's just the rules of Ashe. Like, you have to leave or you will die. Lucid has 6 now, by the way, and that health bar is low. Oh, no!
Flash Twisted Advance comes in. Pays, he's just taken out. And Lucid, he hit level 6 and immediately puts that thing on cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, Pays went right into his Twisted Advance range there. The ultimate is there for good measure. Keeping lands away. He doesn't even have 6. If he has 6, maybe you could get the Lucian away. Maybe he could flash out, but not to happen in this case. Keen also just going to take one of these grubs here on the top side of the map, but huge wins here for D+ here, counter-wise, after what was a bit of a rough start. He's going to pick up some of this money here, continue his advantage, and that can help him push turrets later on with the rest of his team. Chovy, always what the Tristana is going to want as many grubs as possible, but this is just Pays dashes this way. Oops, there's a big old tree in that brush. And ult there just for good measure, but probably not even required, to be honest.
Well, Canyon gets over the wall here. And is going to be able to just grab himself the dragon. So, you mentioned Grub was taken there by King. You neutral objectives in the hands of Gen G once again. The gold gap is closing just a little as D+ being able to find a little bit more. Canyon, relentlessly here, is Kellen. Fish down, exactly what Swani is up to. Showmaker looks for an Emperor's Divide. He does find a good buffer there from Chovy to avoid the displacement, but now Kellen's here. He finds the frost shot with the volley, and now aiming is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Immediate dash forward. But man, he's brave.
Very hit 6-2 just now. I was tracking that because I was like, man, if Chovy's going back in and Kellen hits that ultimate, that is just the end of Chovy's life. You'll have to flash the arrow at least, but doesn't hit it fast enough, unfortunately, for D+.
Oh, Pace is on the wood. There is an arrow. Kellen going to show himself, and Pace continuing to move.
Lucid has hold back. I mean, this could be a problem, not for now, but it's a 20-30 seconds time that Hayes is going to have here. Obviously, Cleanseless. Emilio does have 6 if Lens gets back to lane here, and I don't think they're going to hard commit, but they have vision control of this river, and this is just always a permanent threat. And Hayes just can't really farm. He's 20 CS down. Lens is going to spot the bad news, and the Hayes just has to huddle under this turret.
Yeah, not going to be able to move up. Let's have that cozy campfire, can offer some warm hugs and things like that, but the arrow is going to connect, and Chains of Corruption lands as well. They just wanted the ultimate, they'll trade 2 for it. That makes Pace so much more susceptible now, though. Showmaker's moving in, but Canyon, he's welcoming him with a prison of his own, and Chovy's going to pick it up with a buster shot now. The Nature's Grasp in this bottom side. Aiming, taking a fair bit of culling damage, and Lehens is able to keep Lucid at bay. That fire kick working so nicely, and they do manage to stave them off. Gen G, the defensive play on the bottom side, and the aggression in mid.
That was so fantastically played by Gen G. And as soon as Lucid sees Canyon, he pulls the trigger, but it's just so late, unfortunately, and the response was great. Even with Lehen's ultimate down, they're able to stave that off, and really well played. And that felt, in a lot of ways, just like Gen G's experience, shining through the quick way they snapped the gauge on the Showmaker. They didn't have to, had to walk back. They knew they had the vision game secure there. It's really easy, and it calls out the play from mid. And look at how fast he just flashed ults there. And just calling out sums. And even Showmaker just has to respect. Like,
Says Phil's Neville.
Yep.
That is true. That's because Showmaker's screen is now a little bit dark. I don't know, Wolf. Maybe, I mean, Showmaker's trying to bring back the Azir win rate just a little bit. But it is worrying when we have seen so much negativity towards this particular pick. I agree with you. I don't think it's necessarily all about the Azir, but the vibes. It's not the greatest. As now Chovy not in the greatest position either. Chains of Corruption will connect, but Chovy able to get the flash for the arrow. That means that he is going to be okay. Good buffer of the rocket jump as well to absorb the CC.
Absorbs it, flashes the second ultimate there from Kellen, and just gets out no problem. It feels like D+ have all the right ideas, but they just keep coming up just a little bit short with every play they've tried to make. And Gen G is starting to whittle away. And the early game here, you know, the Varus Ashe had so much control. Yes, he still has a deficit here in terms of the CS, but you know, double support items means that he actually feels pretty good about the gold he has right now. Chovy got late gold in mid. They got that kill onto Showmaker. Rumble is winning topside, and once again, Gen G just ruling every aspect of this rift because there hasn't been any way to relieve the pressure on that Rumble, and the pressure, you know, on the bottom side kind of came up empty. And mid is starting to be an issue, right? I mean, the fact that Chovy is this big, this early, is not something that D+ were hoping they were going to be seeing going into the 15-minute mark.
No, exactly. And Showmaker, he has been just parked here, right? Chovy has been delivering him minion waves, he's been dealing with them, and then rinse and repeat. So he hasn't been able to get out and try and find some of these divides. And I think the thing that separated Showmaker from Chovy, especially in game 1, was just how active Showmaker was on the map. He was all over the place, immediately starting off at level 1 in that bottom lane, but he never really relented. He was stealing ultimates, throwing them out. You're gonna have to see this Emperor's Divide used with great effect, and probably sooner than D+ would otherwise like. Often with compositions like this that have really oppressive bottom lanes, they want to extend the laning phase. But I think getting Showmaker out of the lane phase sounds like a positive move to me.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's going to be pretty impactful in this team fight if they do go for the contest, but he's just so split, and Chovy is so...
Oh, that's an equalizer, and they're going to get a flash from Lucid, and immediately Keen's flashing after him. Is that the Huni request amount of aggression there? As all right, there's a fade away from Canyon. Kellen is just going to get culled. That will be the Cloud Soul announcement, and Gen G erupting onto the Rift alongside it. 4-1. The kill score now approaching a 3,000 gold lead. Earth, Wind, and Fire as aiming does have to flash.
Well timed on the flash to get out, but I mean, this is everything on lock again for Gen G. Is Keen?
Yeah, he doesn't have equalizer, so I guess there's that. Teleport's coming down from everyone as Lucid will run the Nature's Grasp forward. They're looking for the Rumble. They'll get that kill first. Chovy not able to answer back. 3 versus 2, and D+ on the board here.
Yeah, no teleport for Chovy now either, so they get that out of him and relieve some of that pressure, but it doesn't stop anything from going down bottom side, you know, and see if they can kill Chovy.
Yeah, Twisted Advance does come forward. Emperor's Divide is going to be used, and then immediately follows up as well. Chovy, though, able to get the reset, jumps away. I mean, this is just cucumber. He's continuing to farm.
I mean, this is immaculate play from Chovy with these buffers. You know, we mentioned earlier, I was like, you know, one good thing about this matchup is you can kind of buffer the ultimate there. It doesn't always happen. It's pretty tough to do, but Chovy has been one of the better players at doing that, right? He is just buffering whatever is coming his way. Gets the second jump there and gets out of dodge. And unfortunately, again, D+ so close to a pick on Chovy, so close to getting something back cross map, but instead, yeah, they do get that initial pick there onto Keen, but it's at a heavy cost, and the bottom lane is just wide open.
Oh, and he just throws it blind. Okay, fair enough.
He just knew that he saw the arrow over the wall, and he's like, okay, they were hoping for a contest, a Hail Mary steal, and they'll pay with it with their lives, and that means bot turret goes down. And here, I mean, this is pretty simple, the way they set this up onto Keen. Good attempt there from Keen with the rocket belt to try to get out, and then Chovy on the follow-up will have to speed it up, or maybe we'll skip it.
Yeah, I think we're going to do the skip it thing because there could be a Herald fight as Lucid can move on over. Arrow will connect onto the Melio. Glacial Prison down as well, but immediately Canyon is pushed back by that Bramble Smash. The Herald lost interest in this fight completely, and now Kingen, he flashes on top of an equalizer. The culling coming through as well, and he knows that he's going to be taken down, although make use of that lance pretty effectively. I believe the Sundered Sky gave him a fair bit of that health back, but he is also just Aatrox, but he does have the item.
Win or lose, man, I don't think Kingen is having a happy ride home with the D+ Giovan tonight. Unfortunately, has been the brunt of all of the aggression of Gen G in a majority of these games, and in this scenario, a bit too far away from his squad, flashed into the equalizer, just knows he's dead. And it's going to be Gen G winning another fight, picking up another objective here. Powered recall comes through from Canyon, and that's going to open up this last outer turret on the top side of the Rift, if that's how they want to choose to use it. And, you know, what are you going to do in this situation here as D+? You don't really have any way to follow up here. Like, where's the damage? Yeah, you hit the ult, but he just doesn't even have to press anything. He waits for the Alpine ultimate, talking, of course, about the hens. Yeah. And then they just turn this, and D+ just nowhere near to follow up on this, and I think you're still seeing some of the synergy problems that this roster has early on in the season here showing. I think, you know, there's been some great moments, but this was not one of them.
No, not quite. Just feels a little bit like Kingen's getting somewhat bullied. Down to dry there on that one, but not really so much that you can do, right? He is the Aatrox. He elected into this and hasn't really been able to find too much joy. Still, the rest of the composition does what it says on the tin. Showmaker will have a lot of consistent damage that makes up for the lethality Varus. We understand how that one is supposed to work. Can Lucid and Showmaker survive this? As the Rift Herald will come up, and Canyon is going to crash it into the turret. Chovy just getting to work, making sure that he removes that structure. As Lucid will try to follow his Nature's Grasp out, and instead is just going to die.
And this is a moment where you got to know that turret is dead. And you got to... Whoa! Drifted!
Wow.
speaking of dead, you gotta know that Bird is also dead.
Jadi
I didn't know
kalah.
you could like be in the passenger seat, but then like spin it around
Trot.
and stuff like that. I don't know
Pandora
whether that's on the list of
Lite.
things that you're not allowed to do.
Yeah, I'm not.
Putting multiple people into the Rift Herald. We know that you're not allowed
50
to
enggak kan?
teleport a billion miles out of the Rift Herald.
Yeah, I don't think that would seem.
That didn't look like that though. No.
That
Oh,
didn't seem on, as they say. That can't seem on. We have to check him game and PC. You know, the in-game deficit. Gonna have to take a look at that.
I don't
the turret health deficit. Maybe we had to, you know, speak a little bit behind the curtain on that one.
I don't know whether breakdancing Shelly really does
Boleh.
change whether or not Gen G do have a very clear advantage in this game or not.
Sorry,
I would say that game breaking based on state
Oh,
of the
yeah.
game, that it might just be something.
Yeah.
Tak bermaksud, tak bermaksud.
Going back
Sumpah,
to Lucid
sumpah.
there under turret too,
Sumpah, tak
because, you know,
bermaksud.
before that happened, I was going to mention,
Sumpah,
you know
sumpah.
that topside turret is going down. The second the Herald is secured by Gen G, you got to know that turret is not going to last. And if you're going to try to hold with the Maokai ultimate, and the Showmaker has to be there. He wasn't. And so Lucid just dies alone,
Yeah.
and then pops ultimate. So guess what? The follow-up on the inner turret is there.
Iya, benar
Although
tu.
used in a
Silver
way.
Gabung banyak bersilver level tu kita dari
whole
BC.
part of the map is opened up to the
Masuk
final outer
akal,
turret.
Deon.
They take the 3 turrets to 2 here. It's a
Baru
3,600 gold lead at this
Tarian
current
Blitz
game
nggak
stage.
bisa kan yang
And
dapat.
they're not taking the pause too hard, I don't
I
think.
don't think so. In fact, like both sides of the Rift. It's not like you've got like the one serious side that are like, we have to pause the game because we're really concerned about the state of this. No. D Plus is just having a giggle. It might have even been the referees that are just making sure that they check in with both of the teams. If it is something that wasn't actually allowed, there are a list of bugs that do go around. They're known by all of the teams, and they have to let their players know these things aren't allowed.
Yeah,
we have had players, and one of them, the most famous one, is in this game, that just forget sometimes.
Yeah, we had BDD use the Seer that was actually in the Plus series as well.
Yeah, it was. It was the KTD Plus series, and yeah, BDD did it, and D Plus were like,
D Plus the victims of Herald bugs.
they've been the victims of quite a few about really long pauses as well. A lot of the
Belum lagi ngap.
controversies in the past when it comes to
Ngomong lah nak ambil apa tu lah.
game.
Nanti
Just
aja.
sometimes
Underrated.
you draw the short straw, and they have the mercy of it. But I have a feeling that this isn't going to be one that we deliberate on forever. Even Zeph is
Pandora juga.
Well, the thing about this scenario is that they might still get the inner turret regardless of the bug. But if you're D+, you have to argue for this because it's going down in such a way. You can get any sort. If you can mitigate any advantage from Gen G off of this, I mean, your hopes go up slightly. But to be totally honest, I think if you're Gen G, if this has to be a chrono break, as long as nothing happened before that initial dive onto Lucid / you know, an outer turret take where Lucid dies, like if that part doesn't go up, you're still sitting back going, oh man, this game is ours. You know, it's basically a formality because the advantages that Gen G have in this game are so massive right now, and they have so much map control that, I mean, as far as it's starting to fall off, right, as go back to the
glasses.
the
This is, of
tinted
course,
glasses.
this is a glasses company that is sponsored. So a showmaker that paused it, may have been
It might have been something, I mean, we don't know footage. It might have been something about why he wasn't there to try to link up with Lucid when that initial Herald charge happened there.
Maybe I'm an
on
idiot.
the-
Maybe that's actually working as intended. Maybe that's how it's supposed to go. Shelly's just supposed to like spin around and charges forward sometimes. Like it's like an Easter egg, not a bug.
Yeah, slipped on a banana peel.
Yeah. She should be slowing down though in that case, right? If we're going like full Mario Kart rules.
Yeah. Kind of sped out of control there. We will get you guys the updates as we have them. I believe in Showmaker there. His name is Asu, and like Yesu is I guess the Korean like I couldn't think of the word Jesus. The name I could say, but yeah, kind of a play on words there, I suppose. We've seen this in
Wah, Master Yusuf.
We will get a report as soon as you can.
dua
to let you
timur.
guys know exactly what's happening. It is going to be a chrono break. I believe there was interaction with an inner turret that was not appropriate. So we are going to go back.
It did just kind of disappear for some reason.
Yeah, the whoops, the honey I shrunk the turret to infinitesimally.
There were a lot of mites popping out of there as well. I think the turret had a mite infestation. Maybe that's why it fell down so quickly. It lost its structural integrity.
If you had to get the pesticide out, you know, there's a lot of people making sure that they moving all of the mites from the back up again.
Are you losing to DK? Says, I win. Alright, I'm not kidding. I win. The implication here.
It does look very anime, like, and that line does certainly suit it. I like these kind of pictures the most. These are my favorites.
These are the kind of pictures that you like. I know this.
Yep. Canyon and Showmaker. Showmaker is casting a spell.
What is going on down there?
Oh, I don't know.
A lot of chains.
Oh, what's going on here as well? That is a beautiful face, isn't it?
Is it? It's a Cloud Templar sign.
He wants Cloud Templar to be the national coach of the Korean soccer.
Okay, I couldn't quite. I was like, I wasn't 100% sure what the soccer part thing was.
It all makes sense.
Basangin na natin ang team mo.
The names are similar. I think also the
Ultinya Carlos, lapangan anjing.
having the greatest start to the.
And the first thing that you blame is
Lintak suka.
everything. I like that. I like that one a lot.
One of the star players on your team is one of the most famous people in the country. You know, it's a little bit tough to point fingers.
Yep. Almost as famous as Faker, you know, to put it into perspective.
So we're chrono breaking. If you are tuning in late, there was a. We actually still haven't hard confirmed what the interaction was, but it seemed to be an illegal action with the Rift Herald or unintended circumstance. So in about a minute or two, we'll see where we go in. As you can see on the screen here, still loading in. Yeah. But Genji have a massive charge right now. They have massive charge. The initial Herald charge led to Lucid's death as well. Look at that.
Anjir, ini lebih ngeri lagi.
No, it
Mana
should be.
Zed?
I think that we probably just chrono break before the second Shelly ride.
Kamu gitu.
Breaking all of
Udah asik.
I think that's a very reasonable assumption.
Mirip
I
galon.
can do that.
Siapa nama kau?
Like,
Pimilek.
home.
Boleh.
But sometimes, you know, you'll have
Have you seen my dirt tippers?
and you're like, I would prefer it if that had never happened.
Just want to chrono break the cat and then like go back and put it in the litter box or something like.
Yeah, just like move it. Like it's okay. Like we don't have carpeted floors, right? So it's okay. Just do it on the floor. I can wipe that up.
It's not on the sofa.
I would just prefer not to have to change the sheets. You know, just because the cat had an incident. So I'd like at-home chrono break. Would be very, very nice.
I too would like to be able to chrono break a lot of things, especially but so slipping on ice.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's all the referees. The ice referees is not fair. Why don't we just pause the end? Like when we're mid-slip? Yeah, I'm gonna have to raise my hand. That would really help.
Well, the thing is, the referees might tell you is actually your player issue. Like you actually usually coming. It was clearly enough warning.
Also to be like,
The referees are gonna reject your chrono break.
like Doran saying, where is my static shell? And then the refs are like, dude, you haven't bought it yet.
Udah ada
And
Soraka.
then I guess you don't get to chrono break that one. So you need a good
Tapi
reason.
The refs are going to tell you your
Soraka
cats
ini
are like,
Sorakanya
they were
anjing,
giving the
anjing.
warning signs before there was some convulsions. You should have been able to react quickly enough.
Yeah, exactly. Take care of your animals.
Looks like we're about to
Showmaker
jump
found that one pretty amusing as well, and you can see that the player's still in pretty high spirits. Canyon, of course, not necessarily outwardly emotional, and so not giggling quite the rest of the team. So the bug in the end was it was an admin disabled action. Don't necessarily know what that means.
We don't know which one, but we don't like to talk about those publicly anyways. But
Yeah, something went wrong, and we have gone back in time. We have eliminated the issue.
the assumption is it will be before the second boarding of the Herald.
But the most important thing is still intact.
Okay, so now it does half the turret's damage as it's supposed
Alam
to
ya,
not be
kalau
charged
ultimate lane itu kuat nih yang benar.
That's not normal.
Yeah, it's nice that solo
itu.
this time around. They don't cram an extra one in there, and it is just going to be the usual situation.
Wow.
So now,
Damn,
back in the
good
game,
job.
Lucid is he's going to take a little bit longer to end the pause, but he'll be back pretty soon as well. As Kingen gets the wave shoved in
No,
towards
boy.
this bottom
Lagi
side.
nanti
So,
boy.
outer
No.
turret's taken, both top and bot. Soul Lane, outers are the next ones on the menu, I assume.
Let's take a look at Chovy's kill score and gold numbers, because this is, I think, the biggest glaring issue that D+ are going to have to deal with. Obviously, the Rumble is quite big as well, and will be very relevant in these fights, but Chovy is becoming so big that we don't get to talk about range, that we don't get to talk about poke, because he can just kind of get on top of anyone and blow them up. Even the tanky Maokai is not really going to be an issue for him because he's ahead of the clock in terms of where his scaling is supposed to be.
Yeah, and also that range thing that we're talking about, he's ahead of the clock on that one as well. And therefore, draw a beat just gives him range. He's starting to stack up. He's only got 5 more levels to go. And he'll have the highest range in the game.
It's insane, like, what the implications of how basically Gen.G have skipped all of the risks in this competition. Like, because they got so ahead, because they hit all of the benchmarks, there's no longer a, well, what if, no, it's, I think they pretty much, unless they mess this up, they're in a really good spot for the rest of this game. And there are some agency, there's some agency that Plus has, right, with Arrow engages, you know, Varus comes in with Chains of Corruption, you have, you know, maybe an amazing play from Showmaker, right, but he is not in the state where he's going to be bursting people down just yet, so you have to hope for miracles, really, at this point. I know it's only 20 minutes in, but once again, Gen.G have just taken everything the map has to offer.
And they're about to get a soul as well. 4 minutes, and then Soul Point is on the table for them as well. So, Cloud Soul, nothing to smoke at. Aiming, wanting to get probably another full item, probably wants opportunity, and maybe even a Blast Whisper item of some kind to get that armor pen working out as, okay, here we go. Arrow is going to connect onto Lahens, and Lahens is going to stop for a bit and walk away.
Yeah, I mean, if Showmaker is a little bit closer and Chovy's a little bit further away, you know, maybe you go in on that.
That's an equalizer. Kingen takes a walk down the red carpet as Canyon walks over a ward, but I think Kingen kind of knows what his fate is here. Infernal Chains will connect. He goes into the sky. Glacial Prison does come down and he's still alive. And now Kingen with some alco gaming. Not going to work out for him, and Showmaker collects that kill, his first of the game. I had a feeling that Kingen was going to die there, but bought enough time. Yeah, this guy works out very nicely. Changing up the build, actually, so it's not the fully lethality style of Aatrox, a much more burly version, and it's working out.
He didn't have Leandri's Keen in that fight. He's completed it now. That would have been a lot of additional damage there throughout that fight, burning through that health bar. And the lifeline did pop there for Kingen as well on his Hexbreaker. So he's able to live long enough, and Canyon's just like, miscalculation, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to abandon ship. Yeah, walks away.
Bang, kami rin ngomong kau, bang.
One
Apa
small
eh?
step back into this game, potentially here's Kingen will actually take a step here, 200.
Kamu yang buruk-buruk dengerin. Tahu lah kau.
The 2,000
baik-baik orang tahu. Kalau tak katik
Emang ada pembaik.
solar thumb there on the ground as
Ente,
first
bye-bye.
step plus 1.
OP metode 5
But, like you say, correct move forward, and if they are able to just explode trophies, and there are some options here. Pace is still another threat, as we can see right here. Lucid has to flash, but the Flame Spitter is still coming out the culling there as well, and Pace, he does not miss. Thankfully, you can see Showmaker able to get out there with the shifting sands. And it's in fact the arrow that has to be used. Yeah, Baron. They're going to see what's going on here. But I don't know whether they can do anything to stop
Ya Allah,
this.
lawan
No
tinggi
Lucid
led
here,
sudah.
there's no Showmaker ult. So what can you do? You have no options here. You just have to let this one go. TP, even committed here to just try to defend this turret. They can just rotate over to mid and stop aiming from getting this one. It's just healthy enough. Okay, Kingen's here. Maybe they actually do get this one to get out, but still, huge win here for Gen.G. Just denying a Baron just simply off catching Lucid there in the jungle. No help, no support for it.
They are now in their jungle. As Showmaker turns up, Glacial Prison to stop Kingen from coming on forward. Showmaker doesn't have Emperor's Divide. You can see that one coming on through there as now Pays Oh dear, this is potentially a Lucian out of position. He has improved recall, but that is not really going to help him. The rest of his team does show up first. The Showmaker comes on in. Hayes standing his ground though. Sundisk coming on through. Good knock up there onto Keen, but he breaks the chains. Lucid has turned up once again. Lahen's burning, but he will survive for now. He's found another spare lane. Team fighting, not on the menu. Not for Chovy. He wants his structures and he's coming for them.
He knows that if you're going to mess around with these skirmishes where you don't have tools to actually fight, he'll just get something else. He doesn't need to go across the map. Because Lucid here is just caught. They're trying to get vision on Baron. Showmaker's ultimate, you're not enough to stop Hayes over the wall. He has to get out. So now Showmaker doesn't have ult. You don't have Lucid. So that's Baron. On the top side, Showmaker shows up to try to catch and try to help out on Pays there and Lahen's, but doesn't have ult, so he shuffles in. Might have even pressed R by habit, but there's just no Emperor's Divide to come out, and they just kind of walk their way out. Neither bottom laner has the flash in the exchange, so everyone has
Lagi kok duo hit anjing. Makan tentang tiga rak warmok dengan Jin. Ngacu.
And there's just no way that they can even consider a contest.
Kau baca ala kenyandra anjing.
Possibly going to get
Ya, tak mati dari tim relatif. Aduh, enggak.
One thing D+ will always have is the ability to check things. They
Baca
have
aja
Forkshot,
ini,
they
what the
have
fuck.
saplings.
Ya Allah, satu. Dra. Fuck.
Unfortunately, even if they can see what they're doing, they don't have a way of doing anything about it.
Dra satu darahnya.
Yeah, I guess they're just taking
Bisa
everything.
cuman ini Neko
At
sama.
least we know.
Yeah.
Setelah pasrah
He's going to
gitu
connect
nih.
onto Lahen.
Iya lagi.
Ya anjing penting batu kertas tai.
Very nice. Captain Jack going to be proud. I believe he's here today.
Ya,
The desk
satunya
with
di FP.
Helios.
Yeah, I believe so. Well, that's another turret down, and this Tristana, who
Penting
has
batu
3 void
kertas
grubs
anjing
and
lah.
2.5 items, soon to be 3.
Tapi
This is
Bimo
combined
kau
when
ini
she starts
kau
saying
tidak
they
debah.
disappear. Indeed,
Bimo dia
they might not gonna pause
Bimo dia
long
menazir bro. Oh, oh, benar kau bro, no? Benar kau kena sengem ya, benar dia.
What the fuck?
Done here by Canyon as well. He's getting tanked.
Ego deh.
That's,
Montek
sort of the
is
same
real.
spot
Ego
dividers.
deh. Islam.
Tanks as Lucid once again, oh no, having to walk over this equalizer. Cullen comes through, Keen's the one that locks down that kill in the end. Kellen's burning as well, and oh my goodness, the amount of damage that Gen G are putting down, and they are not stopping. They turn this into a siege on this inner turret, and man, it feels like game number 1 from Team Plus is so far in the past now. Gen G with all of the control. Had to be a reverse sweep, but man, they made this last one look very convincing. Kingen? Yeah, Keen is actually going to get pulled back, but it is a really good Glacial Prison to stop Kingen from doing too much more. He's able to take a fair bit of damage, but not quite enough. He gets Buster shotted away. That is actually to his benefit. And they're able to save their inhibitor, at least for now.
That Sundered Sky item is just wild, Alice.
Yeah, I know, right?
Keegan's like, why would I ever need to get any sort of survivability if I just have this thing? I poke somebody and then it's basically better Gore Drinker, and I actually hurt somebody for real while I'm doing it with this build. He lives. He doesn't actually get any of those kills he was looking for. So that's the kind of gold graph you want to see with a composition like this. You get an early lead, and you just keep pushing those further advantages. We're going to go back to this moment here. Where Paige, I mean, with this equalizer here, Lucid is just irrelevant. He doesn't exist. It doesn't matter how tanky Tank Maokai can be. He's just gone. And Kingen wants to come in here and pull something off, but for you know, for all intents and purposes, he has no agency in this game. He was able to eventually do something to stop that push there, but right now, Gen G, Baron is up at 90. They can use that to basically guarantee they get Elder.
Oh, Exodia.
And, like, they don't even necessarily have to get both to win this. Like, Baron alone might be enough with the advantages they have in this Tristana being so big.
Ini nggak bakat,
With
sama kau.
the fact that aiming is just a little bit too far behind, he has gone Edge of Night. It's not opportunity that they are headed towards now as well. So
Tino dah,
just it's looking a little bit rough here, a little bit dire for
No,
Team Plus.
kan,
They are their Nexus is still there. It has not been destroyed. The arrow is going to almost connect as Pace presses all of the buttons.
Scared his ultimate out of him.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Small advantages, Atlas. Small advantages.
Cooldowns for the price of one.
There you go.
He
That's
could have also got
Oh iya, yang ritual kemarin tuh bagi aku nonton di YouTube.
Kami
so
nonton
you're,
bareng
just,
kan.
you're actually saying out loud everything Lehen's just
Berat
said to him.
YouTube. Beda-beda tiap
And that's
itunya.
almost a guarantee.
Nama hantunya
Does
juga.
not hold back. He would
Iya,
definitely
tergantung
not
hantu
hold
apa
back.
We've had some
pintar
good
kan.
comms with Lehen's talking to
Cari
him.
itemnya
yeah.
apa di
Ada sampo galau kan.
Does knock him out.
Mati.
Finds an infernal chains. In comes Canyon once
Juga-
again, but there's
ujungnya
the
dapat
flash
item
twisted event.
sebenarnya.
Have they found him? As Pays,
Ya,
he
itemnya
just
tuh
gets
biar
all the
dihantui.
buttons. Lucid went
itu.
forward, but immediately he is dead, and now Chovy
Kok
is the
salah?
one playing Mario,
Kira
and
udah
he's
dijual,
dodging all of them. The Goombas could not find him. And he's able to now take down a Sundisk. He's back to doing what he really wants to do. Showmaker a fair bit of auto attack damage, but it's not going to quite be enough. Him and aiming do get through Keen, but that is the only reward that they will find.
Yeah, Showmaker hands off the keyboard, having a bit of a giggle. I think they know this is the beginning of the end of this game, the push to kill the Nexus.
I do like
Apa
the
kata
thumbs up
NVIDIA
from
tadi
aiming,
ngomong?
saying Lehens,
Apa kata Andra tadi ngomong?
don't you miss me?
Sholat
And
dulu.
he doesn't even hit him with the piercing arrow. That is very kind to his ex-teammate. And Pays and Chovy will now finish off this game as the arrow sails by gloriously into the distance. And Chovy is going to melt Kellen. He's almost distracted enough by getting the kill onto Lucid here to not kill the Nexus, but he's back to doing what he needs to do, and there it is. Gen G will take the series against D+, but it was a banger.
That was. It really was.
Udah,
And especially game one was quite unique, and then game two, you know, Showmaker kept it interesting. They stayed alive for longer than they should have. Game three, unfortunately, the most one-sided of all of them, and everyone's laughing. Amy's doing the thumbs up at the end because they knew that long before that chrono break, their chances of victory were so slim with the draft that they had. Yeah, but they still kept fighting. They kept trying, but Chovy got too big. He was really showcasing that he and Canyon's new synergy is building up quite nicely at this point in time in this game. And
Cepat kon,
even
sholat
though
subuh kon nih.
there were some Varus leads in the bottom lane, Lucid showing multiple times gave so much agency to Keen in the top lane. Chovy had power there when
Dia
Chovy
tuh
was under
pencet
fire.
7 kan bang.
There it is.
Di
He said he
level
was
kamu ya
gonna do
7
it.
dia.
And
Working.
Canyon, he follows through. Yeah, I mean,
Solat pakai
Lucid
Gwyn
early
sana
goes
sana.
for the one time he goes into
Ada yang naap tidak kamu?
Hah?
Habis. Iya.
Aku ada 2 jam.
Aku dari 10 jam semalam udah kelar kau. Oh ini?
Apa?
Aduh lagi kan hourglass drop lagi.
Iya sih.
Dapat 2.
Wajar MI murah semudah itu ngedropnya.
Iya harusnya kelar jam 10 tadi.
And Nautilus definitely is a
Tapi
better
sekarang masih sejam lagi.
Aku beli 4 jam kemarin.
Faker Azir.
Jadi 8 jam nih, sisa 2 jam.
Karya.
Anyway.
Nautilus.
Is
Dapat
looking to
sebentar aku
punish
login.
the new
Zeus
guys. Some
Rumble.
hazing here.
Doesn't have W yet.
Yeah, this is very rough. In he comes,
Hero-nya
and Yoshik is
agak
nowhere
menjijikan
near.
Hero T1.
The Ghost has been used.
No,
First Harpoon doesn't land.
Devnya lebih
Everyone
menjijikan,
chasing
anjing,
after
nggak tahu
Perfect, and
mekanik
he is
itu
really
mati.
dead. There's first blood, and it goes to
Yeah.
Zeus. Bad news here for.
And you can see as well that Burst is definitely an office. In we go, free versus free.
Yeah, Yoshik is here. That is a decent stun onto Carrier. He's still burning. Death should be able to grab it. And the Ren sets are starting to come through.
Aku nonton KT kemarin.
KT have answered back towards this bottom side.
Jangan salah kau.
Picked up one of
Dev,
the
jangan
drops
korem.
right now, not more being taken just yet. As in they go.
Yeah, there's the
Wih
headlock.
kau.
Volrise has
Hebat
just
Beryl
taken
juga
it.
carry
Yeah,
Dev
not a lot of places
di
to
game
go.
1.
Still have his flash available, but is he just going to be CC'd to death? Yes.
Beryl lagi
So
carry.
is perfect.
Insurance
Carry
policy.
Dev.
Skirmish at the
Lemah
bottom.
cowok
Doesn't
emang
quite look out to be
dimanjoi oleh
towards the bottom
siapa
side.
mentor itu tuh.
That is Zeus sitting.
Dev tuh selalu dapat support bagus. Heran.
Looking to go Leandri's first.
Carry jahat. Siapa lagi?
Oh, that the W flash pole was beautiful from Barrel. The Fate's call to get him out of dodge. The hook from Carrier though, and that will be able to get the counter kill. Yoshik should be able to answer it and is able to get himself out of there.
Nico dulu kan dia dapat pernah.
Never mind, he's dead. Hey, that's going to be the double. And Carrier turns it around beautifully. 2 for 2 in the end, but I think we might make it an extra one as the Whirling Death comes in. Barrel not going to be taken down by the Draven. They want to try and
Beatless.
catch in, at least just bloodthirsty and on the right champions to do so as well.
Jadi support Beatless. Kira mid lane tadi ganti ke Funker.
Dulunya support dulu ya.
It's just unfair. Perfect is gonna die. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's you gotta let it go. And KT are looking like they might not, if they burst down an individual target right from the get-go.
So we'll see whether Deft can do his best full impression and really close out this game with a ballistic.
End of the timeline.
Words I never thought it here is perfect again.
Oh dear. Well, Zayas is just gonna let him live. He is a benevolent god, as it turns out.
Very apt as
To see whether he can be the one to carry this.
and the single target damage I think is still really, really good as we do see some stacks. Barrel.
Here goes Barrel. There's the flash bomb. And they're looking for it. He pushes back the Rumble, and he's just dead. Couldn't even equalize. Oh, there they did exactly.
There is zero chance of a contest. If Guma goes down, still try something.
These breaks against Rumble. Just as far as that CS number is concerned, Spioshik will find a stun onto Carrier. Carrier takes that as a welcome. And in goes Barrel. Looks for another pulverize, and here are the two sides of Barrel. The Fate's Call is going to come through and save his life, though, as they get the knock-up onto Ono, who just explodes, pops like a balloon, but look at the equalizer damage once again, though. Headbutt Pulver, and he's dead! KT have won the team fight. It's 2-1, and T1 are just going to back away. Out of those, exactly. And Ono will find Pioshik there. There's the Fate's Call, the flash forward, and he interrupts the blast cone! Headbutt Pulver, and he's dead. Pioshik able to avoid the equalizer damage as well. That is a huge call. Guys, this is it's just unfair. He's gonna die. Yeah.
Masih perfect terbantai-bantai anjing.
Yeah, oh, it's
You gotta let it go. And
Zeus.
KT are looking like they might not, if they burst down
Bro,
an
MVP
individual
world
target
itu.
right from the get-go.
So we'll see whether Deft can do his best full impression and really close out this game with the listeners.
Words I never thought it here is perfect again.
Oh dear. Well, Zayas is gonna let it live. He is a benevolent god.
Kasian anjay.
Very apt as
To see whether he can be the one to carry this.
and the single target damage is still really, really good as we do see some stacks. Barrel.
Woi, very bagus nih ya anjing mainnya.
Pushes back the Rumble, and he's just dead. Couldn't even equalize. Oh, there they did exactly.
There is zero chance of a contest. If Guma goes down, still try
These
something.
breaks against Rumble are too bad. As far as that CS number is concerned, Spioshik will find a stun onto Carrier. Carrier takes that as a welcome, and in goes Barrel. Looks for another pulverize, and here are the two sides of Barrel. The Fate's Call is going to come through and save his life, though, as they get the knock-up onto Ono, who just explodes, pops like a balloon, but look at the equalizer damage once again, though. Headbutt Pulver, and he's dead! KT have won the team fight. It's 2-1, and T1 are just going to back away. Out of those, exactly. And Ono will find Pioshik there. There's the Fate's Call, the flash forward, and he interrupts the blast cone! Headbutt Pulver, and he's dead. Pioshik able to avoid the equalizer damage as well. That is a huge call.
Another insane pick being found. Last one, I think, was over with this time. Deft actually uses
Yeah, but can they actually do anything at all about it? That's the question. Deft is hoofing it as best he can. And Carrier, yeah, moving on forward. Perfect, not going to be able to find too much here as Carrier gets over to the wall. And Perfect still going aggressive, still going in. Faker is going to get pulled back by the Q as the equalizer goes down. Not exactly the greatest one we've seen, though. And KT still looking for more. Still looking for this team fight. As Fate's Call comes in, there's that flash pulverize, but he's not the target. It's Pioshik that locks down Carrier, but can they find the team fight? Perfect went so incredibly deep. But T1, they still have the Baron. It's a 1-for-1, and the flash hook from Pioshik just barely misses.
as well. Level skill privilege is there, but no death cap yet from Faker.
Dashing forward, there's the pulverize from over the wall. Emperor's Divide hits everyone though as Faker is burning, but I think he will survive. Carrier may not be so lucky as Death picks it up. So Carrier is going to be taken down. Faker has to go back and doesn't have teleport, and now there's an all-out onto Zayas. The Weaver's Wall coming in. Zayas trying to be the hero as PDD almost just said the honey fruit not quite there. And another Q. Owner is delivered, and that was a weird interaction, but Perfect is once again dead. Owner is also, though, as Def cleans it up in the pit. Not quite the kill from the Draven. What? That was chaos. Who won?
Telecom war!
Oh,
Didn't matter. Didn't matter.
Oh,
There's no
okay.
dragon.
Oh, yeah,
It's
right.
fine.
Oh, yeah, it's 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Cool, all right.
No, T1 probably is the winner because they're the one that still can push on. It's Pure
And also, Purshik might just be dead. Yes, he is.
Random yang budak apa?
Okay, yeah, T1 won. T1.
T1 won that, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
they won the play.
When we were confused a bit, thanks Purshik for letting us know exactly what the outcome was there. Faker going to be interrupted. There's a face call. Faker could just be dead. Another pulverized, and he's thrown around like a ragdoll. Sticks are ripped out, and Death blocks that one down. And the sticks are just
17.000 itu sih gaji gambling ke tak sih?
do something heroic, and the answer is no. There's Mountain Soul Carrier, also potentially in trouble as Owner doesn't quite find the Sonic Wave. And KT just wanting to get out.
Apa lagi jual saya? Lagi jual,
Dah, kena tekanan.
His way out.
Jadi sekarang ragu.
Oh, that barrel. That's a barrel flank.
This is definitely a barrel flank in
Belum
both of them, and Barrel doesn't even need the big pull. This one off Carrier. Oh, the seismic shot not going to be there. Barrel not able to flash on top of Zeus, who has a, oh dear, there's that face call we were talking about, and he is going to be taken away from this fight. T1 now find themselves on the wrong side of this battle.
Ditarik,
An equalizer now on fire. He's not in there. Owner looks for the kick, but where's the
Tarik,
ball? The Empress
diuntal
is
ke.
massive, but
Terus
Def able to
pas
take
lah
down
aman,
Faker, and
ditarik
now it's
urgot langsung mati.
seismic
Wih,
shot.
kurang ajar.
KT might find it, the cash in. It comes in, but it comes too
OP
late.
sih.
And KT with
Engkau sebelah aku Milan, ketepak pala kau.
Ah, boleh aku guys.
And the first game of the Telecom
Itu boleh sih gitu. 10 kali gitu.
Oh my god, man! And I feel like we were saying it all week that this was the outcome, but it's honestly not how I was feeling moving in.
There will be justice.
There will be. It better be a 12 out of 12.
Ya, sampai segala
Otherwise,
lawan
it's not
ada
just a
respect.
chronicler. This guy, this was
wajib
vintage
dikit.
Barrel Alistair. He was the Alistair guy. Somehow Carrier finds depth with that hook, but they are still going to have enough to take down this Nexus. And KT
Hilang tas. Ah, ada yang mati sudah. Hilang tactician.
Belum.
Yes. Aku mulai jam berapa? Aku mulai api kemarin, Pek.
Oh iya, aku buka muntek. Astaga, lupa. Offline loh.
Ya Allah.
Mi. Ya ada TSS, fuck.
Iya anjing.
Karena aku tadi kan ke DC, balik lagi. Monster di lantai itu. Adalah 1000 monster kalau di lantai itu.
Oh,
Mayat monster kalau. Aku SS. Tangan aku lambat.
Kurang SS. Kurang lagi kan.
Slow hand.
Ngedat kau.
Anjir, XP-nya udah berhenti dari kau.
Wah, itu dia. Kau Beatless kan ini? Ada bawa Beatless tuh, Terguardian.
Oh bukan. Bukan sih. Pertama. Jadi lah tatap tuh 3 kali.
Cukup ya.
Astagfirullahaladzim.
Ini siapa tapi what the fuck? Ini juga. Ntar kiri aku di depan. Oh benar ya. Wencana. Siapa yang harus?
Ku menahan rasa sakit.
Yes. Agak lah, easy lah. Lalu ada yang nomor aku nih. Anjing. Karena aku udah pakai tadi kasih sama dia. Ronaldo. Aku yang mati. Aduh. Pakai know your enemy dia.
Anjing.
Ronald anjing. Berayam. Hai. Ya. Itu dia. Habis karma kemarin jam berapa ya? Jam 10. Jam 10, 12 jam. 18 jam, 50%. XP oke.
Maju juga sih aku gitu.
Ngajar level kan kalau ini.
Ini gold. Worth it beli dungeon anjing.
Tempesin kru.
Iya, apa lemahnya udah ini siapa sih?
Selesai. Hai. Tiga lagi tahan.
Kopi ya.
Tahannya men.
I need that shit.
Ngapa aku ketiga nih kalah terus ya?
Tempes anjing.
Masa dua anjing.
Jin.
Mudah.
No turning back now.
Aduh, bajingan lonte lupa aku ada yang namanya beat spring di game. Ih, mati Poppy yo. Aduh, tapi mati enggak itu. Padahal magic loh itu.
Violence to end violence. Precision and grace. Precision and grace.
Defend yourself. No turning back now.
Here my file.
Kenapa ikut di stream tu?
Tenggarin ini anjing, tenggar ganti kan.
Make it quick. It's now or never.
Boleh lah. Sabuk.
Sabuk.
Sabuk. Cak cak cak.
Kacau. Si Indra itu.
Ini ngapo
Ini kepikiran kita.
Belakangnya itu aja. Oleh. Azangke Azangke
With honor.
Kenapa lah downfall nih akunnya?
Asli kok.
Downfall kamu.
Downfall dikit.
Downfallnya aneh nih.
Non M mah easy win gak sih?
Iya.
Bukan.
Dia punya tadi. Screen lagi. Channel lah.
Indra kena Kathleen dulu.
Paling seru tuh Blitzcrank Spark.
Iya.
Apa itu Pik?
Scrap.
Kan scrap.
Inovator.
Yang rombongan Irelia, Blitzcrank. Siapa lagi scrap?
Eko. Masukin jatuh jana tuh anjing. Bahaya nih sumpah. Iya, tahu ya sekarang bahaya nih.
Oleh acungkan jempolmu. standby. Oke, cak itu dia, cak itu.
Cek itu.
Cak itu berarti cak ini.
Itu berarti ini dia cak itu.
Oh no, my help.
Okay, so
Lagi.
we're doing this.
Mamang itu gak api.
Aduh, jago kau pengajar.
Aku habis aku.
Tuh ya, habis dia dapat
Jadi jago lah punya.
anjing lah.
Pengajar kasih kurang ajar.
Itu mah betul. Itu mau kalah cak anu. Ngacu dah mulut aku.
Gila.
Ngacu dah mulut.
Ngacu Sindra anjing. Cak itu rasanya kena Star Guardian itu. Sakit nan rasa.
Itu mau kalah cak.
Sakit nan rasanya kena Sindra nanti.
Tak peduli aku nak kalah. Kau kalah sekali pun ya. Bengak kau. Ngacu.
Langsung.
Cak.
Ay, tahu kau tu.
Kapten Bimo on Budi.
Aduh, masih ni. Cu. Oke. Anjing.
Tidak sakit anjing Ezreal ini.
Seri anjing.
Yes.
Oh. Ujung tanduk.
Macet transisi juga akhirnya.
Sehat bro, ini sehat nih.
Guna men. Nah.
Dying's the easy part.
Tapi terus baru good aku cok. Ya ultimo bi Allah. Allah.
Ya Allah. Nah, bilang balik tuh. Habis langsung jam.
Digenar engine Poppy tadi tuh anjing. Itu dia man, engine sungguhnya itu namanya. Tiba-tiba digenar anjing, kira di mana?
Bye.
Cak itu.
What the fuck cak ini dapetnya? Oh literally Siko hero Siko lagi yang 3. Mr. S Wiko Cibe. Mau bintang 1 ini. Aduh, Shaco ini lawan. Shaco 3.
Aku juga jangan lagi 3.
Ini sakit banget. Dideketi oleh genar itu ke Timo aku. Allahu Akbar kabiro. Lemak-lemak jauh kak. Astagfirullahaladzim.
Balik aku. Ngentot.
Oh, gak balik juga udah itu diam-diam nanti. Diam-diam baik kan nak kau tuh sebenarnya. Kau jadi ngobot aku ndak anjing lah.
Sampah-sampah. Sampah-sampah, kau ini lebih sampah tak tahu jadi balik duluan.
Astagfirullahaladzim.
Halo.
Hah?
Tuh, dipanggil tadi aku.
Oh.
Dipanggil terus, udah capek
Panggil
anak.
siapa kok tadi? Kata Wong di rumah ada sebenarnya.
Lagi ada pesta.
Oh pesta.
Tahu lah.
Pesta siapa?
Hah?
Siapa?
Kita
Taruh mikir dulu.
Ya Allah.
Alhamdulillah menang.
Sedenan cok kena Master G itu. Kena satu S lagi berjalan aja.
just 16 week.
Tahu lah yang udah diambil kan oleh muda itu, memang Star Guardian itu.
Aduh.
Bola balik.
Apa kombeknya KTS?
Lah tidak diambil oleh dia.
Tidak ada nih.
Ngenter the protector di Star Guardian emblem anjing dia melee itu babi.
Siapa?
Itu memang Star Guardian itu. Baca dia ngambil emblem protector cocok ke siapa kayak seorang kai. Oh jiwa item ahri dia anjing.
Itu Cuma bisa bilang 3 kalau mana cak.
Oh, nimbi segala anjir. Enggak usah lah X kali ya.
Tidak kok yang Luis P ini bisa aman dari ini. Dari BC.
Udah dapet nian anjing, Dra. Bangsat.
Apa?
Udah dapet nian aku, sumpah.
Ya, aku nonton di nomor Star Guardian.
Oh, selalu ada yang nomor. Ya, berani no. Lagi. Waduh.
Tempo nih aneh.
Wah, ditombol rutinya wajar ada dapet. Ya, dia nembel juga lah. Ini aku mati dapat galau ini. Aku mati dapat galau dia. Menang deh.
Kita yuk. Dapat galau dia anjing.
Bilang dapat galau aku balik.
Nautilus yang langsung tak tiko anjing.
Tai.
Tapi bagus nian pulau.
Aku lama megang item jin ada dapet. Abang lu dapat jin, what the fuck bro.
I don't.
Judgment Seed 5 Longbow.
Cuk bayuan Penasaran aku bisa menang aja.
Pick. Kau buka monlag dah, Pick? Berapa XP kau dapat, Pick? Kenapa aku mentok 3.400?
2.900 aku dapat.
Mentok 3.400 kan?
Oh bisa, aku dari kau dapat 2.900, aku bunuh dewa cuma 2.400.
Ini bonus XP. Beda gitu.
Tidak, aku ngebunuh dewa 2.400 XP cuman.
Bonus XP dibilang.
Iyo, XP yang dari kau ngebunuh 2.500. Nah, dapat 2.400 aku langsung ngebunuh dewe. Harusnya sama.
XP tidak lah. Karena aku makin.
Kau lihat, aku bunuh. Kau diem. Aku bunuh nah. Dapat berapa kau XP?
3.400.
Nah, sama kan? Sama yang kau bunuh dewe.
Iya, makanya aku tadi ngomong saya ada cap dan.
Aku beda, Mi anjir Mi. Yang kau bunuh sama aku dewe bunuh.
Enggak, kau tidak pakai bonus XP, coba pakai bonus XP sama kan?
Woi, kau beda apa itu sama yang aku bunuh apa tak pakai bonus XP kan? Sama-sama 3.400. Aku di sikok aja 2.400, sikok aja 2.900.
Dari kau yang nge-kill karena aku dapatnya ditambah bonus XP aku jadi 3.400. Itu.
Ya masalahnya apa yang aku beda dari yang kau bunuh sama aku?
Kan kau udah dapat bonus XP-nya, Pek. Nanti dapatnya.
You can bonus XP nya tuh kan masing-masing karakter dia tuh. Jadi harusnya sama, aku dapatnya 2.900 galo.
pakai lah dong ini full set bonus XP.
Oh nggak tahu aku anjing. Kayak kau aku.
Aku udah kasih nih, Fik.